and people used some pretty wacky material to make the balls with. Cork, wool, chalk, animal fur and even human hair. A few centuries on, Germany got dead into the tennis too, but wanted to make a few modifications to the ball to make it a bit more effective. Around this time, an American chemist had just created something called vulcanized rubber. Out of that, people started developing air-filled rubber balls, which were properly bouncy, but either red or grey in colour. These were manufactured in Melton Mowbray. That's right, the home of the pork pie. One problem, the balls kept on breaking on impact with the racket. The call of new balls please seemingly coming over every other point. Step forward English lawyer and tennis enthusiast John Moyer Heathcote, who suggested balls be covered in flannel to stop them from degrading. And thus the modern-day tennis ball was born. But these were white or black, so how did they become yellow? Well, in 1967, the controller of BBC Two, one Sir David Attenborough, decided the corporation should show Wimbledon on colour TV. He got his wish and it was wide into people's homes across the country. The only sticking point, the white balls were nearly impossible to see on the screen. So the International Tennis Federation, sensing an opportunity, started developing a new ball that would be visible even without the need for 4K LED displays. Not that anyone had that in the late 60s. After rigorous testing, they came up with the colour Optic Yellow and decided every ball be coated in that colour from there on in. And there you have it. Tennis balls are yellow, all because Sir David Attenborough wanted to watch Wimbledon from the comfort of his own front room. You could say the ITF aced it.
A very good morning and welcome along to Weekend Sports Breakfast, and also happy Mother's Day. Good to have company this Sunday morning. I'm Katie Shanahan in for Shambolic, who is enjoying a day off as it is Mother's Day. So Shaban, if you're listening at this very early hour, which I'm sure you're not, I hope you're having a lovely day with the kids. And alongside me this morning is the former Chelsea and Republic of Ireland striker Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
Here's what's coming up on the show today. It's taken 3 months, but West Ham are out of the relegation zone.
Byrne with the in-swinging delivery. Donnarumma doesn't get there, and it's headed in by Mavropanos. The bubbles are blowing at London Stadium, and West Ham have struck back straight away.
An equaliser from ex-gunner Konstantinos Mavropanos takes the Hammers to 17th and puts a dent into Man City's title charge. They left it late, but Arsenal beat Everton 2-0 with a late goal from 16-year-old Max Dowman.
Arsenal come forward with Max Dowman and they're away and they're going to wrap up all 3 points. Max Dowman, the youngster, taps the ball home. Hugh Bedlam at the Emirates.
Yep, that win leaves the Gunners 9 points clear and Dowman becomes the youngest ever Premier League goal scorer. And there's some massive games today, including Liverpool against Spurs. Can Igor Tudor pick up his first points as Spurs boss today?
Like everything in a life, you can choose how to see the situation. So you can stay and cry, or you can fight. You can be the victim, or you can say, I can change something.
Yeah, it's a huge game coming up later on today at 4:30. And, of course, it's Mother's Day today, so get involved in the show. We're doing a shout-out to all those sporting mums out there. How have they supported you in your sporting career? You can text me and Cass on 81089, or you can give us a call or WhatsApp as we're celebrating the sporting mums this morning. 03717 2233 44. This is Weekend Sports Breakfast here on TalkSport. Good morning, Cass. How are you? You were at the mighty Arsenal yesterday?
Yeah, good. It was good. I mean, I know we're going to talk about it a lot later, Katie, but I'll tell you what, just on a footnote, it really did feel like after the game, coming out the Emirates, that fans really believed this was the day that they'd sort of show or paved the way to be champions. It was a magnificent... Obviously, Max Dowman was such an influential moment in the game, him coming on and what he did while he was on it. It was brilliant. It was brilliant to witness. I kept thinking afterwards, I was at the game where he scored his first goal.
Yeah, and actually that's what they were talking about afterwards.
Yeah.
Even Mikel Arteta, I mean, the celebrations, he just went absolutely bananas.
He was brilliant. He came on.
It was amazing.
He was just, I didn't realise he was that quick. You know, when you're seeing someone live and you think, OK, 16, he's only just 16. He's a couple of months past 16, which is incredible. But seeing someone live and seeing someone, you just see burst of pace. He did it a few times in the game. And I thought, I never realised he was that quick.
Yeah, and also to use left foot, right foot.
But both.
His composure, he's so calm. He seems so mature for someone that is 16 years of age to do it in such a big game. Big call from Mikel Arteta to bring him on as well and trust him with that yesterday. Well, it was another cracking day of matches in the Premier League, including that late win for Arsenal against Everton, while Man City dropped 2 crucial points at West Ham. Here's how it sounded across the TalkSport network.
Here's the corner from the far side. Vita goes up. Oh, what a header! What a brilliant header that is! In the back of the net from Adam Rendell. It's Middlesbrough 1, Bristol City 1.
Sunderland 0, Brighton 1. Well, for the record, Yankuba Minte, ex-Newcastle, he actually has got the ball into the back of the net.
It's finished Burnley 0, Bournemouth 0. Ultimately, both sides will be disappointed because they had the chances to win this, but neither were clinical enough in the final third to get the goal that the game probably in the end didn't deserve.
This has not been one of their better weeks for Newcastle. Who knows, going into the game with Barcelona live on TalkSport on Tuesday. It finished here, Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1.
Arsenal come forward with Max Dowman, and they're away, and they're going to wrap up all 3 points. Max Dowman, the youngster, taps the ball home. Hugh Bedlam at the Emirates. The substitutes stream onto the pitch. The Emirates erupts in joy. The scenes of celebration here at the Emirates will tell you just how important this result is for Mikel Arteta and the Gunners. It's finished at the Emirates. Arsenal 2, Everton 0.
With the in-swinging delivery, Donnarumma doesn't get there, and it's headed in by Mavropanos. In off the underside of the bar, and that's the final whistle. Most certainly, it's advantage Arsenal in the Premier League title race. West Ham have really hurt Manchester City's title aspirations here.
Yes, so West Ham currently level on points with Tottenham, but they are out of the relegation zone as Nottingham Forest just drop in. As for the other scores, Burnley goalless against Bournemouth. It was Brighton that beat Sunderland by 1-0. Minte with that only goal of the game. A rather bizarre finish as well. Arsenal, like we've just spoken about there, 2-0 winners against Everton. Max Dowman taking all of the headlines as he made one and then scored one, becoming the Premier League's youngest ever goal scorer, 16 years of age and 73 days. Newcastle beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Anthony Gordon with the only goal of the game there. Also a very bizarre moment that happened in the huddle, which we'll get into very shortly. And then Man City were held to a draw against West Ham at the London Stadium. That was live for you on TalkSport. Bernardo Silva opened the scoring. Mavropanos equalised with City, dropping precious points in the title race. And, Arsenal, 9 points clear. It did feel like that was such a momentous moment in the title race. Let's start with West Ham against City. In the live game last night on TalkSport, obviously, West Ham, how impressed were you with them? Because it felt like they actually delivered quite a lot here, and Mavropanos equalising, a few minutes later after Bernardo Silva went ahead. What did you make of West Ham, first of all?
Well, first of all, I was heading back from the game against from the Emirates because I watched Arsenal play, but I got back to see enough. And look, City are always going to dominate possession. I think the scary thing for City is normally they have so much firepower in the amount of goals they score. And Pep touched on it afterwards that it feels like they're lacking that killer instinct in front of goal, which obviously Haaland has been so sensational at getting goals since he joined Man City. And it's just, there's something weird, and I can't quite put my finger on of why City are not challenging, because, if you take the possession stats of the opening 10, 15 minutes of the game, they had over 90%, Katie. They're on the ball all the time. And sometimes they don't literally play with a purpose to try and score. They just keep possession. But they've lost that killer edge in front of goal. I said yesterday, there's no way that you could ever tell Ireland how to score goals. He knows exactly how to score goals. But there's things that happen in games, and City, they love the pullback ball. Whenever they're out wide, they love this pullback ball that someone comes running onto and can finish. They just don't, I feel, put balls into dangerous areas often enough. And Haaland obviously suffers when they don't. Yeah. Because he, like in midweek, is not seeing enough action in the 18-yard box. And we can say he's not playing as well, or but I feel like he's having a really frustrating time.
Well, after the game, Pep Guardiola said that his side are not scoring enough goals.
Well, we drew 2 points. The performance was more than decent. So not just for the stats, we talk about Madrid. That was a tough result to swallow, and 3P for Madrid, 3P London. Is the toughest one, so we talk about fight, and they fought until the end. We created enough, like was Nottingham, like many in this season. So we didn't score enough goals this season. That would have been the problem.
So why do you think Erling Haaland's kind of going missing in games? I think with 4 goals in 13 now. Do you think they're kind of missing the source of supply that he was potentially getting from Kevin De Bruyne?
Well, first of all, if I said to you who are the highest goal scorers in the Premier League, who would you go for?
You'd probably go with Erling Haaland still up there.
No, not as an individual, as a team. Before you go there, right? Okay, normally you'd go. We'd all do the same and go. It's either Liverpool, or Man City.
Yeah.
Right. Man City are third highest goal scorers at the moment. Arsenal have got one more than them at 61, and Chelsea have scored the most at 63. Now you would have never have thought that.
No.
You would have thought, wow, City always 5-10. Maybe they're always their goals for column is incredible, and you're right to mention Erling Haaland because he's suffering. I'm watching a centre forward that's getting frustrated within games, and goal scoring was so easy for him. It's natural, Haaland. So when teams or his team don't create quite as much, and he feels like he's feeding more off crumbs in the last few weeks. They've not played well in the way that look they always keep possession. It's natural for City to have the ball way more than the opposition, but there's moments in the game that I think Pep's getting frustrated with his team as well. It's not just the players getting frustrated. I think he's getting frustrated with his own team.
Also, credit to West Ham, though, to manage
brilliant.
Hold them to a draw as well. Let's also just move on to Arsenal-Everton. Arsenal beating Everton by 2-0. Cass, you were at the Emirates. Arsenal left it late, but boy, did they get the job done thanks to goals from Victor Gyökeres. And that was nicely set up from Max Daumann, a beautiful cross in and kind of chested down for Gyökeres to finish. And then it was Max Daumann who's grabbed all the headlines and he's crossed all of the back pages this morning. A wonderful moment, a special night for him. Not only getting his first senior goal to make it 2-0 to Arsenal, but he becomes the youngest ever goal scorer in Premier League history. 16 years and 73 days. I mean, yeah, gosh, just thinking what I was doing at 16 years. Actually, I was playing for England for hockey, so there we go. But Daumann changed the game when he came off the bench. John Pickford had to, come up for a corner. The ball was cleared. Daumann rode a couple of challenges, and then he'd had to run the length of the pitch, didn't he, to score his goal. Well, post-match, Arsenal head coach Mikel Arteta said that this game will be remembered in Arsenal folklore.
It was a beautiful feeling. I think what we witnessed out there today in the last few minutes of the game, it was such a special moment. The way it built up, you could sense, that relentless desire from the team, the crowd to find a way to win the game. And in the manner that we've done it, it was one of the best moments that I think we all together had at the Emirates. And I think we'll remember this one for a long, long time. And people would talk about it in 10, 20 years. I was at the Emirates when I was a kid at 16, ran over the halfway line and scored a massive goal for the club.
What makes Max Daumann such an incredible talent?
Well, he's got everything. No, I think there's one thing I'd say.
Even at 16?
Even at 16, watching him being so comfortable on his right foot, left foot, his vision, he's wanting, just as soon as he came on, he was wanting the ball. Give me the ball. It was like watching a very old savvy player at the twilight of his career that's still got the ability. But by the way, just his pace is just electric. And I think he embraced the moment. I said yesterday that football, or in sport in general, Katie, is sink or swim time. Boy, did he swim. He came on and look, just to give a point of reference to Everton, because Everton for 80 minutes were fantastic. They defended brilliantly. Keane, O'Brien, and many others in their team. Fantastic. What they did, Garner. And I'll give a mention to Ndai, because someone's going to a lot of Evertonians are going to be concerned about losing Ndai, because he's some talent as well. But the show was stolen by this lad, Max Dowman. They were singing on the way out the Emirates, Super Max Dowman, and you could hear it everywhere. It was literally coming down the steps at the Emirates, and all we could hear was Super Max. It was phenomenal to be there, and I came away thinking, that's it. And even though City hadn't played, I thought they're going to get over the line. They're definitely going to get over the line.
Yeah, well, Max Dowman grabbing all the headlines, Mikel Arteta saying that he changed the game. What a special talent Arsenal have. OK, we'll continue to look back on the Premier League throughout the show. But before we move on, it is Mother's Day. So we'd love to give some love to all the sporting mums out there. We want to know, what did your mum do for you in your sporting career? Did she ferry you to matches, buy your favourite replica kit, perhaps? Perhaps she even took you to your first game. Send us a message or text us 81089, or you can give me a call 03717 223344. We would love to hear from you this morning, this Mother's Day. This is Weekend Sports Breakfast with Katie and Cass here on TalkSport. Up next, we're going to be looking back on a dramatic day in the EFL. Good morning.
Morning, guys. Jermain. Morning, Gabs.
Morning,
boss. Morning, boss. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. All good.
Why are you not here, Jermain? I thought you would be with us today in the box, smelling amazing.
I might have to come down, actually. Looks like it's going to be fun. Nice day for it.
Yeah, great day.
Jump on the headache up there. You'll be fine, mate.
He's not a racing man, I don't think, is he?
Oh,
I'm not. The boss knows I'm not really, and he's getting involved in it, though.
Yeah.
Saying all the right
He's well behaved. Didn't come on a Tuesday when he was in on the Wednesday.
No.
Yeah, he was definitely there on a Tuesday.
We're the lads here. All got the helicopter here, didn't they?
Did they?
Tottenham, yeah. Yeah.
That was
Jermain, it's good to have you on with this. Let's get your thoughts now on your former club. Shall we start with Spurs? It's a bit of a mess.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's been a hard watch all season. To be honest, I think especially the other night I watched the game and yeah, it was just I think the manager's come in and he's in, especially in that game, he's decided to start a young goalkeeper in Kingsley, and I think I was surprised when he took him off. To be honest, I think when you have a young goalkeeper and you make that decision in such a game of that magnitude to start him, I think you've got to stay with him. I think what a young goalkeeper can gain from that sort of experience, even though it weren't going well when he made the two big mistakes, but I think you've got to stay with him. And
think I know it sounds like a band I should know.
Well, you are listening to Weekend Sports Breakfast. Katie and Cass in the chair for you today. So why were you singing? There's going to be a theme throughout this show. Lots of mum songs because it is Mother's Day. So if you've forgotten, go and get some flowers this morning and make sure your mother has a wonderful day. That is I'll Always Love My Mama. By the Intruders.
Oh, no.
Getting us in the mood for Mother's Day,
The
of
Intruders.
course.
Wow.
There we go. We're going to be testing your mum song knowledge this morning, Cass.
Yeah.
Have you managed to get a card sorted?
Yes, all that done. I'm going to go.
Already done. Well done.
Well, my mum's now lives with my sister because my mum's not been too great in recent years, and so I'll go and pop in there and have a cup of tea with her and get her a card. The card is the most. I don't know if your mum's the same, Katie, but the card is more important than the present for my mum.
Oh, really?
Always. If I didn't get her a present, she wouldn't mind. If I didn't get her a card, she would.
Oh, wow. Have you gone for a funny card? Are you a funny card kind of
just
guy?
a Mothering Sunday card.
Okay, not a rude card. No.
Yeah, because I was a mummy's boy. That's coming from my sister. My sister's you've always been a mummy's boy. So when my sister gets the ump with the way my mum sometimes carries on with me, and I'll give you one sort of story about my mum. I was playing in France, and I obviously had come back for the weekend because sometimes we'd plan a Friday night, and I'd get the weekend, and the manager would say you can go back to England for a couple of days. Yeah. And on one particular weekend, it was my mum's wedding. My mum was going to get married, and I turned up, and of course I come on the Friday and stayed, and on the wedding day, my mum's in the kitchen, and my sister knocks on the door. And I hear this sort of commotion in the kitchen. I'm thinking, what's going on there? I heard my sister come in, and all I can hear is, "What are you doing?" And my mum's gone, "What?" He's hungry, right? And my sister says, "You're cooking him breakfast in your wedding dress." Are you serious? That's my mum. And I remember thinking, I'm sitting in there, I'm not going in that kitchen because my sister's going to have a go at me. And then she's come storming into the front room and gone, are you okay with Mum doing breakfast for you? Well, she asked me if I was hungry. I said yes, and she, from nowhere, she's doing me breakfast.
In a wedding dress.
In a wedding dress. Oh dear.
What a glamorous breakfast.
I know, but I didn't think anything of it. Maybe it's because I was indulged or a little bit spoiled as a kid, but it was funny because my sister's reaction was brilliant because she really was not having it. You saying to my sister, but I mean,
she wasn't wearing the veil, was she?
How would you describe your relationship with your mum, even with your brother or your sister, whatever you've got, Katie? How do you describe your mum?
I've got a wonderful relationship with my mum. She listens and watches so much my sport and has been a huge part of my sporting career. Obviously, used to play international hockey for 5 years, so she had to travel around the world watching me play. Whether that was
massive support for that,
massive support.
That's really important.
And so that days like today, we are able to shine the light on all the mums. And my mum is going to be having a lot of love. I got her a present, very nice present, some flowers. I'm going to bake her a cake and go for lunch.
Just a quick one. My mum didn't like coming to football matches because obviously it can get a bit vocal, and my mum didn't quite like
She get upset?
Well, you do, you do. You get upset for your brother, your sister, whoever, your friends. But my mum didn't like it. If she was hearing stick, and sometimes in your careers you do get some pretty full-on stick, especially when you play for Millwall if you're not quite doing it. She didn't enjoy that. She did rather not go.
Yes. Well, talking of Millwall, I was actually at the game yesterday. They actually lost by 2-1 at home to Blackburn. Luke Cundall opened the scoring for Millwall, and then there was a red card for Zach Sturge, which I thought was really, really harsh. But then it was Matthias Jurgensen that turned the game for the visitors, and fair play to Blackburn. They pulled further away from the relegation zone under Michael O'Neill. He's been keeping busy. Obviously, he's doing the Northern Ireland job. He's got the international matches coming up. But a disappointing day for Millwall, but it felt as though a number of decisions went against them yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the sending off, and I'm like, I don't know what the referee's seeing there. If I'm brutally honest, I don't know what he's seeing. Andrew Kitchen has got it wrong, and he's got it wrong big style. And it's not because I'm a ex-Millwall player and I got a bias. It's because I've seen the clip, and I was like, really? You get sent off? Because the player runs across Serge, and Serge has really got nowhere to go and hardly touches him. And you have to look at it again, think, is there something I missed here? And even, was he the last man?
No, he wasn't.
That's
last
even
man.
questionable.
No.
So
it was harsh, and it changed the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, look, Millwall's still in a fantastic position. They've got Ipswich next week away from home. They've got a big lead on the playoff group chasing, so they're very likely. They've got an 8-9 point lead from the playoff teams chasing. So, yesterday they could have gone second. They could have. So, but they've done a lot right this year, and they were beaten by 2 late goals, and they were with 10 men for more than 45, 50 minutes? It was just before half time, wasn't it? Yeah. Sending off. So they're still it's a lot to be positive about, even though it would have felt yesterday was a big result that went against them.
Yes. Let's discuss more of yesterday's EFL action, shall we, with TalkSport reporter Lawrence Moore. Good morning, Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Good morning, both. How are we?
Yes, very well, thank you. Very well. Let's talk about league leaders Coventry. They lost their first championship game since January. I mean, what a performance from Southampton, though.
Yeah, they've been in fantastic form as well, haven't they, Southampton? Probably the form team of the Championship since January. 10 games unbeaten, 24 points out of 30. I mean, they are looking really, really good. And it was a tight game. There was two chances at both ends. It could have gone either way. But Tonda Eckhart is doing a wonderful job there. A better job. I came across Tonda when they lost at Oxford, just right at the start of January. We didn't get on that well. He was a bit prickly after that defeat, but he is doing a terrific job at Southampton, and I fancy them for the playoffs. I fancy them to get into those playoffs. Yeah. I think.
Lauren, obviously, talking of Wrexham Friday night, it was a pretty good weekend for them because of Millwall have lost, and then you look around and you're going, West Brom beat Hull 3-0. Where did that come from, Lawrence?
Yeah, incredible result, wasn't it? And James Morrison doing a great job at West Brom. In fact, he's gone in there. It's the third time he's been there caretaker manager, and each time he has managed to do really well there. So I do wonder if he can keep them up, whether that is an appointment at the end of the season. And Hull have had a great season. They just feel like they're running out of a little bit of steam, I think. They've lost 5 of 8. They're in there scrapping. I imagine they'll be scrapping right the way through till May. But I think Saints and Wrexham probably at this stage seem to have the wind in their sails to finish in that top 6. Yeah.
As for Leicester City, they failed to win at home against QPR. How's their fight for survival looking under Gary Rowett?
If you want a manager in there to keep them up, Gary Rowett's the man. I know there was a lot of sort of gnashing of teeth at Leicester in terms of who they picked there, but I do think that Gary Rowett is that type of manager. He gets them organised, he gets them kind of playing in that really solid style that he's been well known for, and will he grind them out? But it's just changing that momentum, isn't it? Changing that sort of downward momentum when you've been on that run and the players in the dressing room aren't feeling the best. I mean, we've seen it at Spurs, how difficult it is to turn around that type of momentum. And unfortunately for Gary, they struggled yesterday. They got a good result against Bristol City in the week, but against QPR, they couldn't keep up that momentum, and dropping to second to bottom at this stage. Wow. I mean, there's a lot of games to play in a short amount of time, but they have got to get out of that.
Lawrence, briefly, Middlesbrough, bad week. Obviously lost at home to Charlton, then dropped points yesterday in a 1-1 draw against Bristol City.
Yeah, Bristol City, proper bogey team for Borough, and they've got huge games coming up. I mean, they play Ipswich in April, as you said earlier, Cass, in terms of Ipswich and Millwall playing each other. I think at one stage Millwall were second in the division yesterday before they conceded those goals against Blackburn. So it's so nip and tuck. Borough there fighting away and really good. Play some great style under their manager, the Swedish guy Hellberg. But look, I think for Borough, they've just got to keep ticking away. They are probably the form team, but Ipswich snapping at their heels, and surely the squad there that Kieran McKenna got, he would be favourite to get into second place in the Championship.
Lawrence, thanks so much for your time this morning. You got any nice plans today?
My daughter has a semi-final, so we are off into the valleys of Wales for her semi-final against Llanrafan. So so that'll be our morning. My mum's coming along for that. So that'll be her Mother's Day treat.
Oh, amazing. Well, have a lovely day and best of luck in that semi-final. How exciting. Lawrence Mora there, our EFL expert, coming up on the show. OK, this is Weekend Sports Breakfast with Katie and Cass here on TalkSport in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Search VW Transporter to find out more. Right, coming up next, we'll see how one of the host nations is shaping up for the World Cup this summer.
Just so typical.
That's so nonsensical.
PSG 3, Chelsea 2, and goodness me, boys, you've shot yourselves in the foot.
What is that? What is that?
I said it. We said it. You bring in a keeper because he's good with his feet. But really and truly, is he that good with his feet? What's this shambolic goal?
Reece James plays the ball back to Jorgensen, who tries to play out from the back, and he gets intercepted. It falls to a PSG player. And by the way, as well, when he gets worked to Vitinha, the goalkeeper's off his line. And that is some dinked finish, isn't it? But once again there, Kwaku, he's taking way too much time. And my goodness me, in a game of football where you're level at 2-2, possibly looking the better team, in a game of this magnitude, at this level, mistakes like that, Louis, are just completely unacceptable.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is why when people talk about keepers playing with the ball at their feet all the time and how it's a massive priority, yes, I appreciate the game is changing, but the priority for a goalkeeper is saving it.
There's also moments as well that I don't think they're clearly there. You had a PSG player coming from the left-hand side.
It's illogical.
You could see ahead as well someone's being pressed. I'm with you. Playing out from the back is a part of football, but if you can see there's pressure on, there has to be a moment where you don't play out from the back and you just go long.
But this is the problem.
Very good morning. This is Weekend Sports Breakfast live on YouTube and your smart TV. Good to have your company this morning. I'm Katie Shanahan, and alongside me is the former Chelsea and Republic of Ireland striker Tony Cascarino. Here are some of the headlines you're waking up to this Sunday morning. Kimi Antonelli is on pole position for this morning's Chinese Grand Prix. Mercedes teammate George Russell starts second, with Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton in third. We'll have updates from Tom Clayton in 25 minutes' time. Hearts' charge at the top of the Scottish Premiership was dealt a shock blow as Kilmarnock stunned the league leaders with a deserved victory at Rugby Park. And Brighton beat Sunderland by a goal to nil at the Stadium of Light. That was thanks to a second-half winner, but also a very bizarre goal from Yankuba Minte. After the game, Brighton head coach Fabian Hertzler was delighted with his side's away win.
I think first of all it's important to understand why we are in this form. It's about doing the basic things right and keeping the standards high in every training session. And then we have to understand we have 8 games to go. Every game will be a final for us. We have to play every game like will be last game of the season, and then we see what's possible.
Good win for Brighton, Cass, even though it was a rather bizarre goal. Did you see it?
Yeah. And just on that goal, it's more of a bigger note on this one is Minter is a player I like. Do you know he hadn't started a game for Brighton? I think it was December the 30th at West Ham.
Oh wow!
So his first start was yesterday in this year.
Wow!
For Brighton, I don't get it.
I was going to say, why do you think that is?
Well, obviously he's probably been off form or indifferent compared, but he's a dangerous player. Great physically, he's quite direct. He really does test fullbacks. He certainly tests them physically because he really imposes himself on players. But I've never quite got why he's not played as a starter, coming on and, he's been coming on regularly in games. He's played in games, but he's been coming on all the time. Certainly this season more often than not, and certainly since January up until where we are now. And it was a big win for Brighton. They've had a bit of a turnaround. Hutzler has been under severe pressure. Sunderland have lost their way. And I get it. You've had an incredible season. You've got a lot of points on the board. You're safe. And there's been a lot of big good things that have happened at Sunderland this year. But that fall off, that dip, that's happened to many, many teams who have been promoted and been really, really good when they've been promoted, but had a real drop-off during the end of the season.
And as for Brighton, they're 3 wins in 4 now, so they had a bit of a rocky period, from January to kind of Valentine's Day I'm looking at here. So they seem to have turned the corner as well.
Yeah, some big results along the way. And, if you get Brighton on a good day, you know they're a hell of a side. They've got a lot about them. They've got that nice balance between experienced players like Welbeck, Dunk. I mean, I know Milner's not played as much, but they have that. Veltman's in that role as well. And they've got some younger players that, tick boxes. And I've seen Brighton be really good and I've seen them struggle. It's been a strange season for Brighton.
Right, on to the World Cup. As the latest episode of How to Win the World Cup is now live, Matt Ford and Lloyd Griffith speak to former Premier League referee Mark Clattenburg about what it's like to referee the biggest games in world football and why officiating in the World Cup is often very different to the Premier League. Well, here's Clattenburg on why players tend to behave better on the pitch at major tournaments.
When players play at the national level, the respect is completely different to when they play at club football.
What, the respect for the officials?
No, I think players towards officials, I think managers and coaches towards officials are completely different. I think they never want to let the nation down. And I felt when I was refereeing in tournaments, it was very like a game of chess. There wasn't many bad challenges, not like the way we see in the Premier League. And dissent is a lot less at international football than it is at club football. But if you commit a bad challenge in a tournament, you could end up, and it's not like an automatic 3-match suspension. What you see in the Premier League, it could be 2.
Yeah.
You miss 2 games in a tournament, you could be out of the tournament. So players are a lot more. They think a lot more, and that's why there's not as many bad challenges or a lot of dissent that you see at club football.
Really interesting thoughts from Mark Clattenburg there. How to Win the World Cup is available wherever you get your podcasts. And speaking of the World Cup, preparations are well underway for this summer. The first ever to be hosted in 3 countries, the USA, Mexico and Canada, though the current backdrop amid political tensions is one of uncertainty, especially in the US. But what about Canada? What's the mood like over there? And how much are they looking forward to hosting their portion of the tournament? Well, I'm very pleased to say we can speak to Canadian football expert and Aston Villa fan, Brendan Dunlop. Good morning, Brendan.
Hi, Brendan.
Hey,
Hey, how you doing? Good morning. Pleasure to join you. And I'm happy that the Canadians are the ones who have things together at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. What are you most looking forward to about the World Cup this summer?
Oh, it's going to be pretty special in general. I mean, I spent most of my life cheering on my mother's homeland of Portugal because Canada didn't qualify. And now this is a regular thing. And Canada would have qualified for this tournament even if they weren't co-hosting it. But it's pretty special that the entire world's going to come and get the Canadian experience. And that Canada, a country that the football public really love it, but at times it can be a bit of a bubble, and that bubble is going to grow considerably. So I'm most looking forward to other people falling in love with the sport that we all love.
Now, Katz, last time me and Brendan spoke, we were pitchside at the World Cup in Qatar, and we spent most of the World Cup together, didn't we, Brendan? So how excited is Canada to host this tournament?
Yeah, I think, they're still kind of settling into it. I think that there's a lot of buzz at the moment about how uncertain things are south of the border. That's been a big thing, and really since Donald Trump took office, as far as Canadians and Americans are concerned. So I think there's a bit of hesitation to it as well, but there's definitely excitement. You're going to have the world stars come to Toronto with 6 games, and Mohamed Salah is going to be with Egypt as one of the headline matches out of Vancouver for 7 games. They'll have a last 16 match and a round of 32 match as well. So it's definitely building, but I got to be honest, I did think that it would be a bit higher at this point, as close as we are to the tournament. It still feels like it's going to catch some people by surprise on both sides of the border.
So that's Brendan, because obviously America has lots of different climates, within a country. I mean, I remember '94 in the United States, and you could play New York. It was still hot in the summer, by the way, but when you got down to Florida, it was literally roasting. Now Canada is very, very different, but I can remember even going back years ago, going to Ontario in the summer, it was really, really hot. So the weather thing is still there with Canada because it's so vast as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Vancouver has a retractable roof, so they're going to play it as open as possible. They'll treat it as closed for rain, and Vancouver is one of the rainiest climates on the continent. But in Toronto, the temperatures get to the mid-30s or the high 30s in the summer very often. We'll even strike 40, so that wouldn't be surprising if you do have one of those incredibly hot games. And as we saw at the FIFA Club World Cup this past summer, I was in New York working all of those games. FC Porto played Al Ahly at 9:30 at night. It was 39 degrees. So you can, it's just part and parcel of playing in North America. But at least they varied the kickoff times a little bit, and they're not going to be playing at noon in Pasadena for the World Cup final, as was the case for Italy and Brazil in 1994. So they've adjusted slightly, but the weather's certainly going to be a factor.
Yeah. I mean, how different do you think this World Cup's going to be to the one that we were at together, Brendan? Obviously, Qatar, you could pretty much do all of the games in one day. All the stadiums were so close to each other, whereas this is with 3 countries. So how different do you think this World Cup is going to be, bearing in mind it's across such vast distances?
Yeah, well, that's what makes it night and day, really. I mean, that was like an Olympics in Doha, where it was, we had all the games in one city, and Al Bayt was the farthest, and it was a 45-minute Uber ride. It was far more manageable in terms of the logistics. This is going to be a nightmare in some ways, but at the same time, very exciting for people who get to travel and get to follow their team. And I've got some friends who are English expats who live here, are part of the Aston Villa Toronto Supporters Club, and they've got all their tickets booked for all the England matches, and there'll be a lot of that travel, but it simply will not be as easy. And I think in terms of quality of play, one thing that's different is, Katie, most people we worked with got pneumonia from standing pitch side with those air-conditioned stadiums.
Yeah, we tried to shut them at times, didn't we? We tried to shut them, and then we got told off. Yeah. Like, no more aircon in these. I had to take thermals, and it was like 40 degrees outside.
Yeah, I know.
And I was wearing thermals inside the stadiums. It was so bizarre.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the French, because obviously Montreal, Quebec, big influence there.
There is a big influence. Yeah, I got to be honest. It's very unfortunate that Montreal is not a host city, and the fact they're not even hosting a team for a World Cup team for a camp, which is really unfortunate, because I've always said that Montreal to me is one of the most exciting, if not the most exciting places on the continent, and it's a taste of Europe in North America. So I'm sad that the world is not going to get to experience that part of French Canada. There really won't be as much of a French influence as you might have expected otherwise, but the entire world's going to come. And as far as the French diaspora, with Haiti participating in the tournament, you're going to have a lot of French Canadians and Haitian Canadians that they'll make the trip to all around to follow Haiti, and then of course, the African-speaking countries will be playing in Toronto with Senegal and the Ivory Coast as well. So there'll be some French there.
And just before we let you go, you're an Aston Villa fan. Big game today up against Man United. You know, if you beat them, you go third. So you're excited for the big game?
Of course. It's been quite the season. I mean, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, and the wheels have seemed to have fallen off of late. But as you say, they're still within reach. So, you know, I stayed up super late to talk to you, Katie, and now I can get a few hours of sleep and then wake up and watch Aston Villa beat Manchester United. That's the beauty of your 3 o'clocks are 10 a.m. for us. So it's about brunch and breakfast and Premier League. It's great.
Oh, amazing. Brendan, it's been so nice getting you on the show this morning. Very much. We haven't spoken to each other for many, many years. So thank you very much. Enjoy the game today. And most importantly, enjoy the World Cup. Thank you so much.
Cheers, Brandon.
I will have a great show. Great to talk to you.
Thank you, Brendan. Right, Brendan Dunlop there, Canadian football expert. Yeah, wow. Can't wait for the World Cup. It's going to be fun. It's going to be upon us before we know it. And remember, we'll have updates of Manchester United against Aston Villa as part of Game Day Live from 1:30 this afternoon. Right, keep those texts coming in because don't forget, today is Mother's Day. So if you've forgotten, go and get the card, get the flowers and spoil your mum today. How has your mum helped your sport? She washed the kit, bought replica kits perhaps, or taking you across the country to lots of games. 81089 is on the text. And then up next, we're going to be getting stuck into this morning's back pages. This is Weekend Sports Breakfast with Katie and Cass here on the TalkSport. A very good morning.
Just a quick word on some of the other stuff that's been doing the rounds this week. Eddie Hearn's been making more noises, discussing the prospect of AJ. We don't even know when he's going to come back and start fighting again, taking on Tyson Fury. I mean, is this just sort of like, I don't know, barroom talk, or is there real feeling behind it? Is there some substance behind the prospect of them meeting finally?
I think there's a real thirst for it from everybody involved in being able to make that fight. I think we will be a lot further down the line, obviously, if Anthony hadn't suffered the tragedy that he suffered at the back end of last year. And that's the main thing really for me. Him getting his head in the right space to compete, competing for the right reasons, getting himself to a place of peace. I know that he's never ever going to get over what happened to him, but if he can get to a place of peace where he can get back in the ring, he can compete, and if he does want to do that again, then I think the obvious turn would be Tyson Fury. I think it would be really, really sad for this era of boxing and this era of boxing fan, and for both of these guys, because I think they'll look back in years gone after their career that they should have done it. I hope that they can get to a point where they do it, because I still think that it is the biggest fight for two British lads stepping in a British ring. Fingers crossed it happens on British soil, that we can get.
Right, final prediction before I let you go. Who sinks more pints of Guinness over the weekend? You in Dublin or Crookie this afternoon while he's watching the Gold Cup?
Oh, that's a killer, that. I think Crookie takes it all. I've been out with Crookie on a couple of occasions, mate, and he is a phenom, isn't he? He knows what he's doing when it comes to sinking pints.
Good morning. This is Weekend Breakfast. Katie Shanahan alongside Tony Cascarino with you this Sunday morning. Happy Mother's Day for all those mums out there this morning. We've got back pages on the way next, but here are some of the headlines you're waking up to this Sunday morning. What a game this was, by the way. France edged out England with the last kick of the game in a sensational 13-try decider to secure back-to-back Six Nations titles at the Stade de France. Mercedes' Kimi Antonelli becomes the youngest driver to set pole position in Formula One history by leading teammate George Russell, and the Chinese Grand Prix will have updates from 7 o'clock. And it's the last day of the Paralympics today. Here's TalkSport's correspondent Michael Waydock with what we can expect today.
It's the final day of the Winter Games and the last opportunities for Paralympics GB to reach their medal target of 2 to 5 set for them by UK Sport. A solitary silver for para-alpine skier Neil Simpson and his guide Rob Poth is the only souvenir of an event that was always going to be tough for the team, starved of major global competition in recent years and robbed of their biggest star, Menna Fitzpatrick, who's been competing here but not at her best after a serious ACL injury in December. The final medals will be awarded in skiing and ice hockey. In alpine skiing in Tofani, Neil Simpson and Rob Poth race again in the slalom, visually impaired discipline, along with GB's Sam Cousins. 16-year-old Dom Allen will also race in the slalom, standing discipline. A final Paralympics appearance for cross-country skier and biathlete Scott Mina, his third and final games, whilst the USA and Canada will face off in Milan for ice hockey's gold medal before a closing ceremony in Cortina, where Italy will hand on the torch to the French Alps for 4 years' time.
There we go, the last day of the Paralympics. Thank you to Michael Waydock there, who brings us all the updates on TalkSport. OK, now it is time for the back pages with Sam Stevens.
Longing for company.
What do you think, Katie? Fan?
This is such a emotional. Maybe you should sing it. Maybe you should find a way of getting your own jingle.
That's a great idea.
That is a great idea.
That's a really good idea.
You strike me as someone with a good voice.
It's interesting you should say that. Yes, I've been told.
I was going to say I
couldn't possibly blow my. Can you imagine? Yeah.
Yes, I'm a fantastic singer.
No, I do love a bit of karaoke.
What is your karaoke song?
It's My Life by Billy Joel.
Oh, okay, strong.
Yeah, well, I've heard it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit of a baritone, you see, so it suits my vocal. My.
So you have to be able to. Do you know every word of the song?
No. I mean,
obviously, it comes up on the.
I know,
screen.
but that's cheating karaoke.
Is it?
You got to do a karaoke where you literally sing the whole song yourself. I will.
What's yours then?
American Pie.
No, the whole every word of American Pie.
I have done at a time. I might not get every word right now, but I know 99% of it. Yeah.
You're telling me you can't remember one of your red cards and you can remember all the words to American Pie?
Well, not. I mean, it's a long song.
Yeah, true.
So there's many.
He's erased the red cards from his memory. That's
a good point. Yeah, very good point.
Right, back pages filled with Max Dowman, pretty much everywhere.
Max Dowman is rightly all over the back pages. They think it's wall over. He's got a mural, Max Dowman, and now draws the Gunners 9 points clear. Back page of the Sun. Dowman 16 grabs Prem score record. Back page of the Express. Deserves the headlines this morning, doesn't he, Cass? Max Dowman.
Yeah, absolutely. Scintillating. I'm trying to think of a great word, but it was. Do you know what? Being there, and as I'm watching him, I'm thinking, and then he makes the first goal, and it was the ball that was needed. That, you know, because Arsenal fans were getting frustrated with the ball not going in early enough. And then the moment he gets out of his feet and he just whips in a ball with his left foot. And obviously it leaves Jordan Pickford. He's stretching, he gets a touch and ends up Gyökeres simple tapping. And then he scores the goal himself. But in that, what was he on, 20 minutes, something like that? He immediately, the ground lit up. And of course, by the end of it, it's a memorable moment, his goal.
Yes, absolutely.
It was obviously Jordan Pickford goes up for the corner and it breaks, but the way he ends up finishing him that free run just to tap it in.
Yeah.
It was. I kept thinking, I was here and I first saw him get his first goal.
Katie, I don't think it's outing you to say that you're an Arsenal fan, aren't you?
Oh, yes, I'm an Arsenal fan.
Yes. I'm not going to out you in any other way.
No. Well, I was listening.
Yeah, exactly. What bright red onto
Bright red. Mighty Arsenal. Up we go.
I was just going to say, how excited are you for Max Dowman? I mean, what an unbelievable talent.
A wonder kid. And also just how calm, composed, with such maturity.
Big smile on his face.
Massive smile. And he's only 16 and he's just taking it all in his stride. But I was watching Victor Gyökeres' interview afterwards and he said he's so calm, plays without fear, right decisions most of the time as well, which I think is spot on because I think at that age you might, dribble too far or, hold on to the ball too much or panic. But he just whips the ball in and then when he goes on, basically runs the length of the pitch to score his first senior goal for Arsenal.
Yeah.
It was just such a wonderful moment, and Cash, you're so lucky to be in the stadium. I wish I was, so I'm living it through you this morning.
And people are going to say, we're going to go down the road now. Oh, don't put too much pressure on him. He can handle it.
Yeah.
He can clearly handle it.
So he obviously broke the record to become the Premier League's youngest ever goal scorer. Who was the person that he broke?
Well, there's Rooney, there's one more. Who would be the other one, Sam? Do you know?
Yeah, because I had to look it up for the
From Everton?
stat.
Everton
again.
James.
Not Milner. James. Oh.
James Vaughan.
James.
James Vaughan.
James.
16 years and 270 days back in
What
2005.
happened to him?
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
200 days younger. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's almost a
But I mean, we've got quite a few wonder kids out there. We've got Lamine Yamal, and it's hard to know. How do you know if they're going to kick on at such a young age?
Max Dowman played when he was 15.
Yeah.
I mean, that in itself is ridiculous.
Yeah. Are you more excited for him or Rio and Gamoa, Cass, as a Liverpool fan?
Well, we haven't seen enough of Rio. I think he's another exciting talent. But look,
exciting for the future, though, isn't it?
Of course it is. They're two very talented lads.
And just quickly, I wanted to go across North London to, I'm afraid, the rather less fortunate side of North London at the moment and talk quickly about Spurs. Loads of talk about this game. Obviously, Liverpool Spurs today. It's just massive, isn't it, for Tottenham, that they try and get some kind of result together, performance together. Igor Tudor, back page of the Sun this morning, has no regrets overhauling off Antonin Kinski and admits, I would do it again. Spurs' under fire boss subbed his keeper after 17 minutes following two howlers in that 5-2 defeat at Atletico Madrid. The gutted Czech handed a shock start, went straight down the tunnel. He said that he would, he's not afraid to make the big decisions. You have to do that as a manager. It's just so important for Tudor, if he's going to last in this job, that he gets something today, isn't it, Cass? A performance or a result?
Well, I tell you what, there's not many optimistic Spurs fans at the moment. What they're witnessing and what they saw in midweek at Atletico, look, it's a big game for them against Liverpool today. It's way bigger next weekend. Now, we could all separate games, but the Forest game at home, if there ever was a game that's 6 points, because the difference of if they lose and if they get a victory, it's a next weekend. It's a bit of a free roll for them today to be a little bit braver.
But surely they want the boost ahead of next weekend.
Yeah, it's another thing doing it, but they don't look like it at the moment.
No.
That's why I say free roll a little bit. Make sure you give, because Liverpool are not great defensively. You can cause them problems. But can Tottenham keep a clean sheet? Oh,
yeah, like you say,
can't see it.
Like you say, Katie, it's that added pressure on them for next weekend, and they've shown this season, Spurs, haven't they? They don't necessarily deal that well.
No Van der Ven still, is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's at Anfield. They've lost, 6 on the bounce. The last time they won was back in January. And you just feel as though even the way that Igor Tudor didn't even acknowledge Kinski when he won off, the players ran, down the tunnel with him, which didn't go well in the dressing room. You feel as though, how on earth are they going to get a result against Liverpool?
But someone mentioned when we talk about being acknowledged, quite a number of managers I've played for have, blanked players as they come off. And it's not deliberate. It's just they're looking at the game and it's like someone else, the coaching staff might go, well done, come on.
No, but after what happened, there surely must be some empathy from the manager. He brought him off after, 16
Yeah, I think he missed
after making 2 howlers.
Yeah, look, I'm unfortunately old school, and and a lot of old school would just say, look, if he goes in Monday morning and says, come into my office, son, and have a chat, and sort of reassures him, we don't know if that's happened. I think that's important as much as you come off the pitch. Could there be? Yeah. Would I think, put his arm around and say, I had to take you on that. I have to do it, son. We'll speak Monday or something like that. Even that seems hard in the moment.
Yeah. Right, Sam, that's all we've got time for. Thank you very much. I like that song. We can play that a lot more, I think.
There we go.
Coming up next, we're going to begin our previews on all of the days, football including the Women's League Cup final. You are listening to Weekend Sports Breakfast here on TalkSport in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter with Katie and Cass this morning. A very good morning, and it is just coming up to 7 o'clock.
In the past 10 years, on only one occasion has a side been on fewer points than Arsenal at this stage of the season. Leicester City, 63 points at this stage. Arsenal leading the Premier League on 67. Liverpool were also on 67 in 23-24, and they went on and finished third that year. I mean, does the fact that they have got that 7-point gap right now over Manchester City give them a little bit more insulation? Because Leicester didn't have that, did they?
No, they didn't. It was. I mean, you can't compare those. You can't compare the seasons. That was just
crazy.
It was.
Yeah,
it was.
I still can't even believe that it happened now. Really,
I find it's fascinating how much stick Arsenal are getting for the style and the set plays and trying to compare previous winners.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it does.
It doesn't
obviously
matter
does.
to them.
It obviously does. Yeah, it doesn't to them, but it obviously does to so many people.
But that's just because people don't want Arsenal to win it. That's got nothing to do with the fact that they really care about the style.
Are we really looking across the other teams and going, wow, what a team?
No, there's not.
They're so good to watch.
And going, I would prefer them to be.
No,
champions.
I would say the league as a whole this season has been
average.
Yes. Yeah, and you can see it's evolving. The stats will tell you it's evolving, especially in an athletic way for these teams. It's much more competitive than it's ever been before.
Cricket balls are red, baseballs are white, American footballs are brown, and tennis balls are yellow. We don't even think about it really, but the story behind the tennis ball is actually quite interesting and even involves Sir David Attenborough. I know. Well, here's the tale. Tennis is widely known to be a French sport. It dates back to the 12th century when people used handmade balls, and it was then called tennis, which is the verb to hold in French. And people used some pretty wacky material to make the balls with. Cork, wool, chalk, animal fur, and even human hair. A few centuries on, Germany got dead into the tennis too, but wanted to make a few modifications to the ball to make it a bit more effective. Around this time, an American chemist had just created something called vulcanized rubber. Out of that, people started developing air-filled rubber balls, which were properly bouncy, but either red or grey in colour. These were manufactured in Melton Mowbray. That's right, the home of the pork pie. One problem, the balls kept on breaking on impact with the racket. The call of new balls please seemingly coming over every other point. Step forward English lawyer and tennis enthusiast John Moyer Heathcote, who suggested balls be covered in flannel to stop them from degrading. And thus the modern-day tennis ball was born. But these were white or black, so how did they become yellow? Well, in 1967, the controller of BBC Two, one Sir David Attenborough, decided the corporation should show Wimbledon on colour TV. He got his wish, and it was wide into people's homes across the country. The only sticking point, the white balls were nearly impossible to see on the screen. So the International Tennis Federation, sensing an opportunity, started developing a new ball that would be visible even without the need for 4K LED displays. Not that anyone had that in the late 60s. After rigorous testing, they came up with the colour Optic Yellow and decided every ball be coated in that colour from there on in. And there you have it. Tennis balls are yellow, all because Sir David Attenborough wanted to watch Wimbledon from the comfort of his own front room. You could say the ITF aced it.
A very good morning. This is Weekend Sports Breakfast. I'm Katie Shanahan alongside the former Chelsea striker Tony Cascarino with you this Sunday morning. Coming up it's taken 3 months, but West Ham are out of the relegation zone.
Byrne with the in-swinging delivery. Donnarumma doesn't get there, and it's headed in by Mavropanos. The bubbles are blowing at London Stadium, and West Ham have struck back straight away.
Yeah, an equaliser from Mavropanos takes the Hammers to 17th and puts a dent into Man City's title charge. They left it late, but Arsenal beat Everton 2-0 with a late goal from 16-year-old Max Dowman.
Arsenal come forward with Max Dowman, and they're away, and they're going to wrap up all 3 points. Max Dowman, the youngster, taps the ball home. Cue Bedlam at the Emirates.
Yeah, it really was Bedlam, and celebrations for Mikel Arteta as that win leaves the Gunners 9 points clear, and Dowman becomes the youngest ever Premier League goalscorer. And Aston Villa travel to Old Trafford this afternoon, and head coach Unai Emery is relishing the challenge facing Michael Carrick's side.
They are now feeling confidence, they are strong at home, they are playing good football, they have good players. I think it's a really huge challenge on Sunday.
We'll have updates on TalkSport from 2 o'clock. Loads on the agenda this morning. Keep your texts coming in. This one made me laugh this morning. Hi, Katie and Tony. Alan here, massive gooner. You guys have to look back at yesterday with Jamie O'Hara and Rory Jennings. They were talking about the Arsenal game. They were watching it and talking about it live. And I think I remember Rory Jennings saying it was worst day on TalkSport. And I was thinking, when Arsenal win the league, Rory, that is going to be your worst day on TalkSport. OK, keep those texts coming in, 81089, or you can give me a call on this number, 03717 223344. This is Weekend Sports Breakfast here on TalkSport. OK, let's move on to our next game that we're talking about, Chelsea against Newcastle. It was one of the 5:30 games yesterday. Newcastle picked up a, very rare win at Stamford Bridge. It was thanks to Anthony Gordon's early goal, which gave Eddie Howe's side all 3 points. It was their first win at Chelsea since 2012, would you believe? They played 14 times in the League and Cup at Stamford Bridge. Since then, Chelsea stay 5th. Newcastle are up to 9th, and after the game, Liam Rosenior talked about his side's form and how they managed the game.
I've looked in the table. We need to be better at home in my time, for sure, and before me. So that's something we need to look at. There's things you can do, routines, change something in the way that we go about the game. But today, first 15-20 minutes, we're on top. They don't have a kick, and then they score out of nothing, and then we're chasing the game. The Burnley and Leeds games, we found incredible ways not to win those games. That wasn't down to performance. It was down to switching off and being punished in those moments.
Cass, a disappointing week for Chelsea, especially after the PSG defeat as well.
Yeah, and, they didn't play particularly well against Wrexham in the Cup, although they won it finally in extra time. It's been a difficult period for Liam. And, then I've said this for so long, I feel like I'm repeating myself, is that they just seem to switch off in games. They can play really well. You come away. And midweek was a great example against PSG, where how well they played in certain parts of the game.
And you were there, weren't you?
Yeah, I did the commentary. So, and I kept thinking, they seem to gift so often the opposition something. And that was again yesterday. Chelsea had their chances before Newcastle scored. And it's been a real battle for them to convince everybody that there's a consistency in their performances and it's a really high level. They've got lots of good players. Don't question the quality that Chelsea
But they are quite young, aren't they? So
yeah,
that experience to see out games is probably
they haven't got
coming
it.
Through now.
No, they haven't got it. They really haven't. And again, looking back in midweek, it's another example, but there's many examples of that with Chelsea this season. And they go from their highs and their lows, and when they hit the low, they can be quite poor in periods of games. So it's a funny, they're a strange team with so much talent. So many players are good.
Talking of strange, there was a very strange situation before the game. I mean, this was bizarre. Paul Tierney, the referee, found himself in the middle of the Chelsea huddle, which they've started to do at the beginning of games. I mean, what did you make of that? I mean, I remember seeing former Premier League assistant referee Darren Cann saying he'd never seen anything as strange in 50 years of watching football. It was bizarre, wasn't it?
Well, the referee clearly wants to stand on the halfway line, OK? And most referees do. And the Chelsea players have decided in recent weeks that they'll do the huddle in the middle of the pitch. So it was like, we're not giving ground here and you're not, and the referee was insisting, like, I'm standing here. So it's like, who's going to give up first, isn't it? Who's going to go, oh, OK, lads, I'll move out of the way. The Chelsea players have not moved. They've just gone around him, which is really, really bizarre. I totally get it. It's actually quite funny. And you can see Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer having that cheeky giggle at the time. So look, the problem they have is when you do things like that, if you win the game, it doesn't really matter. But when you lose the game, people will go, what are they doing? Because they'll say it's immature, it's stupid, it's not professional. And they've lost the game.
Credit to Newcastle, though. Big week for them. They'll be pleased, won't they?
Yeah, and Anthony Gordon, again, he's playing that centre-forward role more often.
And Thomas Tuchel was watching on in the stands.
Yeah. Well, he's very direct. I remember watching him at Aston Villa with Newcastle early in the season, and he had a host of chances in the game. He didn't score, but he was really hard to play against because he's so direct and goes running at goal and he's quick, he's going to get chances. But the question was on him, how clinical could he be in that role? And yesterday he got a goal. OK, it was quite a simple finish for him in the end. But it worked. And Voltemada was playing a little bit of a deeper role. So not necessarily up alongside him, but deeper. And that allows Newcastle to stretch teams.
Yeah. So Newcastle coming away 1-0 winners against Chelsea. So from Chelsea's men to Chelsea's women, they have a huge game of their own today as they face Manchester United in the Women's League Cup final. It's Chelsea's 7th League Cup final in a row. As for Manchester United, they are playing in it for the first time and they've never won the League Cup before. But Sonia Bompasta's side are without influential players like Sam Kerr and Ellie Carpenter, who are away at the Asia Cup. And I'm very pleased to say we can look ahead to this game. A huge day in the WSL as well with our women's football reporter, Angelina Kelly. Good morning, Angelina.
Good morning.
So who do you think needs this trophy more, Chelsea or Manchester United?
You know what? It's a tough one. I think Chelsea have had enough trophies, let's be honest. I mean,
Share it around.
Yeah, exactly. They went invincible last season. They won the domestic treble. I think if you ask Chelsea fans, they want that Champions League trophy. That is the one that is missing. But I don't think that they're going to turn the nose up at the League Cup because Chelsea haven't been great this season. They've been quite inconsistent with their form. So I think fans are hoping that maybe this trophy will kind of kickstart them to then be able to see out something like the Champions League. But for Manchester United, they've had a great season overall. They're actually above Chelsea currently in the WSL table. So I think for them, they won the FA Cup a few seasons ago. I think it would be nice for them to have this. And I think there's a lot of pressure on the manager, Mark Skinner, because as much as Man United have been playing good football, they're in the quarterfinals of the Champions League for the first time ever. The fans don't really rate Mark Skinner. They're not a big fan of the way that he plays football. Some people just don't like his personality. So I think for him to be able to win another trophy would probably silence a few critics.
Well, Angelina, because if you look at Chelsea, Man City and Arsenal, they've all set the standards, haven't they, of their achievements. And Manchester United has sort of come from a far further position away of getting closer to these teams. And has that happened? Is that basically down to just investment in the team?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a strange one when you talk about Manchester United and the women's team that Sir Jim Ratcliffe didn't even know who the captain was last season. The fact that they have actually spent really, really well, especially in the January transfer window. But I think overall, since the team began back in 2018, they bought a lot of very good players at the beginning. There's been a bit of a revolving door at times, but I think at the moment with Manchester United, they've got a really good group of players. Obviously, they've got big names like Ella Toone and Jess Park, etc. But they've got Fallon Tullis-Joyce in goal, who is arguably the best goalkeeper in the world right now. She's just won the She Believes Cup with the USA last weekend. But then also in that team was Alyssa Thompson, who plays for Chelsea, who was the most valuable player, who's one of the quickest players I think I've ever seen in my life. So as much as Man United have got that positive with the goalkeeper, you know, Chelsea have got some very talented players as well.
And also good to see that new contract for Lauren James ahead of this game. So that'll be a big boost for them. Also, lots of interesting matches in the WSL today. Any in particular that you'd like to pick out?
I think it's going to be Aston Villa versus Manchester City. Katie, you touch on the Asian Cup. I think 16 Japanese players are missing from the WSL, 12 Australian players. So every team pretty much is affected, and Manchester City will be without their goalkeeper, Ayaka Yamashita, who is at the Asian Cup. And she's been absolutely brilliant. They have Kiara Keating as backup, who was with the Lionesses in the summer, great goalkeeper, but I think missing her could be an issue. I think with the quality City have got, then it should be okay, but also look out for Liverpool versus Leicester, which is basically a battle for the bottom of the table, only 1 point between them. And I think if there is a winner, whoever loses that game will be going down, if you ask me.
Angelina, thanks so much for your time this morning. We'll have updates from the Women's League Cup final from 2:15 this afternoon. Right, they're underway in China for the second Formula One Grand Prix of the season over in Shanghai. Kimi Antonelli started on pole for Mercedes, but what's happening in the early reckoning? Here's our reporter, Tom Clayton.
Yeah, and lap number 7, and Kimi Antonelli still leads the Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton actually got the jump on him at the start of the race, moved to the outside around turn number 1 and led for the first lap or two, but that superior Mercedes has taken Antonelli and his teammate Russell back to first and second. So it's the 2 Mercedes followed by the 2 Ferrari and the 2 Alpines in 5th and 6th as Gasly and the fast-starting Colapinto go well. Meanwhile, terrible day for the 2 McLarens. They didn't even get out the pit lane. They're out of this race before it's even started. Lap number 7 of this Grand Prix, Antonelli leads from Russell.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, Tom. We'll be back with you very shortly for updates throughout the show. Up next, we're going to be discussing me and Cass's top 5 sporting moments of the weekend. Yes, Katie and Cass in the chair for Weekend Sports Breakfast on TalkSport this Sunday morning in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter, such VW Transporter. To find out more, it's 7:16. Good morning.
Isn't it strange that we get 6 sides that every single English side went through? Newcastle were the only side that had to qualify via the playoff system.
Yeah.
But not one English side in the Premier League. And we like to think that we are. And I think there is a bit of arrogance. I do subscribe to that point of view. But is there something in the fact that maybe the Premier League is so demanding? So, for example, right, PSG this weekend have had their game cancelled to play Chelsea so that they have the rest between that they played last night and the next time they're going to play is against Chelsea on Tuesday. Look, I don't see us turning it around at all, but we play Newcastle on Saturday. The league is demanding, or is that me just kind of making excuses for the Premier League?
No. Do you know what? Also, you got to look at this. So I understand what you're saying. You're not making excuses for the Premier League, but the Premier League might need to start working with the football clubs.
How's that going to work?
League. Well, Liga 1 done it. They moved games, cancelled the game to fit it into the PSG schedule to make it easier on the players.
Yeah, but here's the problem.
They want to retain the Champions League.
Yes.
It's a prestige trophy.
Of course.
So if your league has got that, so a team from your league has got the Champions League, it just makes you more prestige.
Here's the issue that's going to happen. Here's the problem, is that there have been examples of managers complaining, and I think some unfairly at times, about playing on a Wednesday and then playing on a Saturday 12:30 kickoff. Klopp famously done it at a fallout with one of the reporters. But you cannot show favouritism in England.
Hello and welcome to TalkSport Goals. We've been taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
A very good morning. This is Weekend Breakfast. Katie Shanahan in the chair alongside the former Chelsea and Republic of Ireland striker Tony Cascarino. Now, the reason we are playing this song, Young Folks by Peter, Bjorn and John, today is this. Gen Z are turning their backs on traditional snacks like crisps and instead tucking into posh nibbles. A study has found outrageous. Edamame beans, spiced chickpeas and stuffed olives, washed down with kombucha are more of their thing. Gen Z are twice as likely to describe their favourite nibbles as artisan or handcrafted than their parents' generation, and 60% describe their snacks as posh. So my question to you is, Cass, what's your go-to snack?
Well, first of all, I'd say you don't know what you're missing. Kombucha is a weird one because it's the idea of the gut health, isn't it? An alternative and low sugar, not sodas and all that. And so that's quite different because we have quite a few of them in my house or, in the fridge. I'm not the greatest fan, but, I'm a different generation. What do I go to snack? Unfortunately, crisps. I love crisps. And I'll get into certain types of some weird tasting crisps.
Oh, yeah, like what?
Well, I got into around Christmas, so I went to my niece's for Christmas and she bought these fried egg flavour. And I tried them and I just couldn't stop munching on them.
Fried egg?
Fried egg. And they really do taste like fried egg. They're amazing. I mean, they're not cheap. They're about £4 or £5.
For a packet?
A packet, yeah.
Do they give you a full packet? It's not like when you get the Walkers.
It's fried egg. I mean, I love ready salted and plain, but the fried egg ones were the ones that got me.
I've got to agree with you. Crisps.
Crisps are
also, you don't get full, do you?
No.
So you just keep troughing away.
Crisps are such a lovely taste, and all the different flavours. There's ones I don't go for, certain ones I'm not too bothered about cheese and onion. And yet there'll be people listening go, I love cheese and onion.
Yeah. What's your favourite crisp? 8, 10, 89. Let's get the charts going.
Fried egg. I wonder how many people.
Fried egg. Have you ever tried a fried egg?
Yeah, it's a flavour.
I've not seen that in the shelves. I don't know where you're shopping. Selfridges was the place that I learned. Very, very fancy.
It was Christmas when I had them first of all, and I tasted them. I thought, cool, they're nice. And then I was amazed. They even smell like fried egg.
Wow. Oh, wow.
When you open it,
because actually you can tell because there's smoky bacon. You've got roast chicken.
I like
crisps.
smoky bacon.
I like those.
Yeah, I like
salt and vinegar is
roast
my
chicken.
favourite.
I like as well.
Yeah.
In fact, I nearly like them all.
What's your favourite crisp? 8, 10, 89. I think mine has got to be top of the charts. Salt and vinegar.
Yeah,
got to be.
Another one. I'm not really. There isn't one I don't really like.
Yeah, okay. Right, let's swiftly move on then, because it's time now for our top 5 with VW Transporter.
The TalkSport Top 5 with the Volkswagen Transporter on a mission to change the game. Search VW Transporter.
Okay, this is the part of the show where Cass and I try to agree on our top 5 sporting moments of the weekend, and there have been plenty this morning, so we've been treated. Cass, you're going to bring us the moments. Where would you like to start?
Well, I'm going to go to the French rugby team who have ended up top of the table. And there's a certain player, a 22-year-old, I hope he say his name right, Louis Bielbieri, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. An outstanding winger. I think he's scored in these last 10 matches, and he's 22, and what a difference maker he is. And we talked about, Max Dowman earlier and a winger and in football, but in rugby he was sensational.
And he got 4 tries, out of France's 6. And England arguably, if they just held on and not kicked throughout the game, then they could have held on for the win in Ireland. Probably thinking this morning, gosh, could you not have just held on England? We would have won the title. Could you not have just done that? But what a dramatic game. So that's probably big, got to be up there. As for number 2, where are we going next?
Number 2, I'm just trying to find because I've written them all down.
Formula 1?
Formula 1. Yes, no, it wasn't my choice, but Antonelli as one.
Kimi Antonelli.
Yeah, I think that was your
youngest driver. We've got a theme this morning, haven't we?
Young people.
Young people.
Yeah, a 21-year-old, isn't he? 19 days I've got here. Pole position, 19 years and 212 days old. Wow.
Yes, beat the previous
Sebastian
Vettel, which was 21 years old and 72 days.
So fair play for a young man in a car that obviously it's always the car that's the most important thing, more than the driver, which is a little bit unfair.
He's currently leading the Chinese Grand Prix at the moment. We'll be back with Tom Clayton very shortly. Your third choice, are we going for someone else young?
I'm going for a team.
Okay.
I'm going for a team, okay, because Southampton have been amazing. I'd written down some of their results and what they've done in and they lost on the 17th of January to Hull City, and from there they've had 12 games, 8 wins, 4 draws, and in one of them they won at Fulham in the FA Cup. And their victory yesterday against Coventry has really put them on the cusp of,
playoffs. They're 3 points off Wrexham in 6th. Yeah.
Compared to where they were when Will Steele took the job early on in the season, what an incredible turnaround at a football club. So Southampton Football Club,
and they're in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. Number 4.
Yes, where are you going for that one?
Mavropanos. I thought, and he got man in the match yesterday. But from a player, I mean, he's Arsenal linked as well, isn't he? Yeah, he's had his time at Arsenal, so he's done his old club a bit of favour there, hasn't he?
Yeah, so he got the equaliser for West Ham. His towering header from a Jarrod Bowen corner meant that West Ham moved out of the relegation zone for the first time in 102 days. Here's how it sounded on TalkSport.
Bowen with the in-swinging delivery. Donnarumma doesn't get there, and it's headed in by Mavropanos. The bubbles are blowing at London Stadium, and West Ham have struck back straight away.
And finally, your 5th moment of the weekend.
Obvious.
He's all over the back pages.
Dowman.
Who is it?
Dowman.
Yeah.
And probably the winner by a country mile, because it was just that cameo that came on and, and what is the ceiling for this lad? The answer is no one really knows.
Well, let's remind ourselves of how his first senior goal for Arsenal sounded.
Arsenal come forward with Max Dowman, and they're away, and they're going to wrap up all 3 points. Max Dowman, the youngster, taps the ball home. Cue Bedlam at the Emirates.
Is he the real deal?
Oh, he's already the real deal. And we always are careful. We always say, be careful with younger players, because it's a bit of a roller coaster ride from your start to your career, and you have your ups and downs. Yes, he will. But if you're watching on pure talent, and I remember watching Boris Becker in tennis when he first hit the tennis courts, and sensational at 17 years old. This lad's even younger, and there's been many great footballers from Pele to Lionel Messi and many others. Ronaldo have all played at a very young age. He's a super talent. That's for sure.
So are we agreeing on our favourite moment of the weekend is going to Max Dowman? Obviously, I'm biased.
Well, I was there, so I would go. It was a very special moment to witness a lad, and not only obviously he had an assist for the first goal, but his goal was a moment where it felt like he knew exactly how quick he was.
Also, he's swaggering his way to the goal, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's taking lots of touches and eventually just taps it in. And he's got an incredible barnet as well. And that helps, when you're that young and you've got this, incredible hairdo.
He's the coolest kid in school.
Yeah, I think he'll be chased by a few sponsors.
And a few girls as well, probably.
First and foremost, he's a terrific young footballer. Both feet really, really good on right and left.
Yeah, he's got a bright future. OK, that was all thanks to Volkswagen Transporter.
The TalkSport Top 5 with the Volkswagen Transporter, on a mission to change the game. Search VW Transporter.
OK, thanks for all your texts coming in this morning about what is your favourite crisps. This is after Cass, you said that your favourite crisp is fried egg.
Yeah.
Well, it's been up there. And Ryan's just texted in saying, I bet Tony's breath was absolutely honking after those fried eggs.
You ain't wrong. You are not wrong, I promise you. I've had that already said to me. My wife said to me, them eggs, your breath.
Yeah, don't bring any fried egg crisps into the studio. I think no one would come in. OK, this is Weekend Sports Breakfast here on TalkSport with Katie and Cass this morning. Up next, we're going to be joined in the studio by our band of the month. It's Kid Kapichi. Good morning.
if you're taking out form right now, it has to be Harvey Barnes.
Yeah.
I mean, every time he steps on the pitch, I don't think he's going to score. He's so powerful and so quick. When he runs, it's almost like, oh my goodness, you're not catching him.
Yeah.
And that's where Thomas Tuchel, because I mentioned Barnes, Gordon, Rashford, Foden. You then got Palmer. I'm talking about attacking 10 attacking options.
Yeah.
You got Palmer, Saka, Madueke, Bowen, Bellingham can play 10. Rodgers can play left.
Yeah.
I mean, there are going to be some big names on that list that don't go.
Yeah, but annoyingly, out of all of those players, none of them are really smashing it at the moment. Rodgers maybe is doing pretty well. Bellingham's been out injured.
Yeah.
Nothing from Foden.
No,
Cole Palmer's gone a little bit cold.
Yeah. Saka's not, obviously the numbers haven't been there. Madueke's in and out. But
isn't that bizarre? If we were doing this World Cup a year ago, we'd be buzzing with those players.
But and as I said, Barnesy.
Barnesy, giving the old John Barnesy Barnesy.
Yeah, Harvey Barnes. He's right now he's probably in the best form out of all of them.
On the left hand side, Rashford was on the bench last night, right?
Yeah.
Who starts for England on the left for you out of those two, Rashford and?
Oh, Rashford would be first because Rashford for England's been good.
He does.
Yeah.
Does that matter? It's a good point you make. Does that matter? If you're really good for England, but you're not doing it at club level, and some players are like that.
Danny Welbeck was a prime example of that.
Okay. Does your league form matter too much when the manager knows when you put the English shirt on, you perform?
Yeah, I think for certain players, I think it does matter. Because, again, a prime example is the last Euros, not the one in Germany, the one before that, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, a very good morning. This is Weekend Sports Breakfast. Katie Shanahan here with you this Sunday morning alongside Tony Cascarino. We've got Kapichi in the studio. They'll be playing for us very, very shortly. But here are some of the headlines you're waking up to this Sunday morning. Yakuba Minte scored the only goal of the game in bizarre fashion as Brighton condemned Sunderland to a third straight home defeat in the Premier League. Ludwig Aberg did not provide the fireworks of Friday, but will take a 3-shot lead into Sunday's final round of the Players' Championship in Florida. And the Chinese Grand Prix is currently ongoing. Here's TalkSport's Tom Clayton with more.
Lap number 17, and this is turning into a real ding-dong battle between Kimi Antonelli and Lewis Hamilton. We've been under safety car for the last few laps, which allowed the teams to get in to change their tyres. It's just thrown a cat among the pigeons, with George Russell dropping down. He had a poor restart and was down as low as 6th at one point. He's back up to 4th. The two Ferraris are back up to 2nd and 3rd. Hamilton chasing down Antonelli. How about that? Youth versus experience at the Chinese Grand Prix. Lap number 18, Antonelli leads.
Yes, and we'll have more updates throughout the morning on TalkSport to keep you updated with the Chinese Grand Prix. But I'm very excited to say we're now joined in the studio by our band of the week. It's Kapichi, and in case you're wondering what they sound like, here's a little flavour.
Call me a good time, call me relief. Thorn in your side and I'm stuck in your teeth.
Yeah, that's Kapichi with their song Stainless Steel, and I'm very pleased to say they're with us now. Jack and Eddie, Arsenal fans, how are you both doing?
Very well, thank you. I couldn't be happier to be here after what happened last night. I was up until the 85th minute, I was texting my friends going, I'm going on TalkSport tomorrow and I'm going to have to talk about how Arsenal are going to win the league. So I'm very, very happy after
Well, Cash, you're outnumbered here because you've got 3 against 1 Arsenal fans. I mean,
well, I mean, yesterday I was there, so I witnessed a very frustrated team for long periods. Everton were fantastic.
Yeah, we knew they would be.
And it all changed when a young man came on, and it was like a really crazy moment. And it wasn't just him, because other players had an effect, but Max Dowman was...
I was gutted he didn't get the assist for that, because really, as soon as he came onto the pitch, it was just a different game.
I've given him an assist.
Yeah.
I've already done that.
Okay, good.
that ball in was incredible.
Unbelievable. And as soon as he came on, that game changed. I genuinely think if Max Dowman didn't play that game, it would have been a 0-0.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point.
And I mean, he's just turned 16. And I mean, as Arsenal fans, we've known about this kid for years. Do you know what I mean? But now everybody, you know, anyone who watches football now knows the name Max Dowman, and it's incredible.
Well, coming out the stadium last night, it was literally Super Max Dowman. You was hearing Super Man.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And it was, you could hear it everywhere. Yeah. It was a real sort of moment.
Hasn't even done his GCSEs yet.
No, he's going to be the coolest kid in school.
It's unbelievable, honestly. I'm so chuffed. And then for City to drop points as well.
Yeah. Is that happening?
Yeah, it's happening.
It's happening.
It's happened. It is happening right now, but it's happened. Yeah.
Right, well, let's move on to the reason you are actually here, not to talk about Arsenal, even though we could talk about that all morning. So you are here, Kapichi, with your song. You're going to be playing live for us on the show.
Yes.
So what's your favourite gig that you've ever played? Let's start there.
I'm going to go Royal Albert Hall with Liam Gallagher for Teenage Cancer Trust. That was a pretty special one for us. Yeah,
that was pretty cool. Even if he is a City fan.
Yeah, we'll let him have that.
Yeah, to be honest, that was probably my favourite as well. You can't really top one of the most iconic musicians in one of the most iconic venues. So that was a pretty good one.
So are you doing live all over? Because most people do a lot of travelling involved in bands, aren't there? And you can go off to Europe and you get gigs.
We're gigging all the time. We've got a big festival season coming up, and then we'll be touring at the end of the year, and you can
announcing that pretty soon.
Yeah, that'll be announced.
The name.
Yeah.
Where's that come from?
I wish I could say it was more interesting than what it was. We wanted to come up with something that was different, but we ended up coming up with something that no one could say and no one could spell.
Are we saying it right? Have I been saying it right?
You got it spot
on. I was hoping, just tell me if I'm not. You've been merging it all morning, Katie.
No, you absolutely smashed it.
Okay. So when did you guys realise that you wanted to be musicians?
We've been in the band together now for probably 10 years, I would say. We went to school together. And just remember sitting down and watching you play guitar in the music room at one point, and then you started a band, and a few years later I joined in, and that was it.
Yeah,
it's always happened, really.
It's always kind of, it's the only thing we can do.
It's all we've got,
Yeah, it's all we've got. So it's kind of, you got to keep going. No, I absolutely love it. I think I've always wanted to do it. Growing up with football and music, and still those are my biggest passions and strifes in life.
And we ain't no good at football, so...
Well, they come hand in hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Very often, don't they?
I was going to say, what's the ultimate goal then? Because you've already played alongside Liam Gallagher.
To be honest, like I feel like we're doing it right now. Like we make a living off of doing music, and we tour with some amazing... Our crew are amazing.
Yeah, you get to hang out with your best mates going around the world. It's a good time.
We wake up every morning and we're just laughing from the moment we get up.
That's what it's all about. That's what me and Cass do on this show, just laugh our way through it.
I couldn't be happier, you know. I feel like we already have done what we want to do.
That's great.
Yeah. Sorry, Noel Gallagher you played with.
Liam.
Oh, it was Liam?
Yeah, it was Liam.
Okay, sorry. I thought I met...
That's real rock and roll.
That's real rock and roll. Okay, talking of rock and roll, let's hear you live on TalkSport. So you're going to play for us now an acoustic cover of the song we heard a while ago, Stainless Steel. Right, take it away.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
No one said that it would be painless. always reaching for that higher social status. So be grateful, be gracious. When that Christ-like figure of fame comes down to save us, do you use the steps or do you dive? Do you lower yourself in, hold your breath and count to 5? Does a cold sensation make you feel alive? And does the rest of life feel boring afterwards? I'm not made of stainless steel. I'm made of blood, I'm made of bone. No one said they wouldn't hurt. Scratching round for recognition with your fingers in the dirt. Could be better, it could be worse. But when your time's done, we all end up as food full of worms. Are you scared of your fearless nature? Vitamin D and echinacea. Does it crawl up your spine like an 8-legged creature? Or does it dangle from above waiting to greet you? Well, I'm not made of stainless steel. I'm made of blood, I'm made of bone. I'm made of blood, I'm made of bone. I'm not waiting by the phone. I'm made of blood, I'm made of bone. I'm made of blood, I'm made of bone. Did no one tell you to hedge your bets? Do you wake up in the night drenched in your own sweat? Do you live in silence with words unspoken? Scared that when you pull the cord the parachute won't open? Are you scared of your fearless nature? 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 I'm not made of stainless steel. I'm made of something real. I'm not made of stainless steel. I'm made of blood, I'm made of bone. I'm made of blood, I'm made of bone. There you go.
Very good.
Much better live, I promise it's better live.
That was excellent.
Thank you very much.
There we go. Always good to get live music on Weekend Breakfast. So talk us through Stainless Steel. Where did the inspiration for that come from?
Stainless Steel was the first song we wrote off our latest album, which is called Fearless Nature. It was out in January, and it was kind of the first song that came out, and it was it meant a lot, I think, because it's the fearless nature thing is kind of feels like a statement, but it's really a question. Are you scared of your fearless nature? And I spent a lot of the previous year before kind of questioning how I was feeling and where I was going. So it was quite a personal song, and a lot of our songs before have been very politically driven, and this was more introspective, which the album is much more introspective as well.
Do you then enjoy performing it more when it's more personal? Do you think?
Yeah, we're yet to go and perform this album properly.
We haven't toured this album yet, so we've done a few little live shows when the album came out, but we haven't had a chance to really get out there and give it the full.
But there is definitely an added weight to it when it's something that's so personal. I'm so excited for this.
We're super proud of this record. It's probably the favourite one that we've ever written.
So.
Yeah. It's a challenge, isn't it? I mean, because most music, if you go back over all the decades, and I was into alternative music from a very young boy, and you know the sort of love idea and everything romantic and love songs were all around, and I'm not so keen on that.
Sure.
I like a little bit more rebel. I found that.
What's your favourite sort of bands?
Well, I love Cockney Rebel. I don't know if you remember Steve Harley and Cockney Rebel.
Of course.
And obviously people like Bowie.
That's them, isn't it?
Yeah. They're just bands that I've been lucky to see a lot of them and meet some people in bands.
It's amazing.
And they'll all tell you most music is very personal to them anyway.
Of course. My favourite band is The Clash, but
another great band.
We were super lucky. We supported the Specials before Terry Hall passed away. Rest in peace, Terry Hall.
Seen them live. Listen to the three.
Yes.
Right? Lewisham Odeum, that doesn't exist now in South London. Bad Manners, Madness, and the Specials all on the same night.
We are supporting Madness still. We continue to. We actually did a song with Suggs on our previous album.
Yeah.
He's a Hastings boy.
He's a Chelsea fan.
He is a Chelsea fan. Yeah.
We weren't going to mention that.
He's a lovely guy. Everything like that. all the normal.
And get down to a gig to
come to a gig like I say, in the next couple of weeks we're going to be announcing the biggest tour we've ever done. Right. So if you didn't find that horrendous, come see us.
We loved it.
Yeah. And also it's Eddie's birthday, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Thank you very much. Happy birthday. Well, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
On your birthday. Kapichi there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, you're listening to Weekend Sports Breakfast on TalkSport in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Working with you. Coming up next, we're going to be looking ahead to Nottingham Forest's crucial game at home to Fulham today. Good morning.
On this week's Inside Liverpool, winger Jermain Pennant gave some of his own stats on Slot after hearing about the Dutchman winning 62 of those 100 in charge.
We've lost to Galatasaray twice without scoring a goal. They finished 20th in the league phase. We've lost both to Man City and Man United at Anfield. We've lost 4-1 to PSV. Then the next game after that, 3-0 to Forest at home, both games at Anfield. We failed to beat Leeds twice this season. We failed to beat all three promoted teams at Anfield. We've lost 3 times to Crystal Palace this season. Lost to Wolves, Brentford and Bournemouth away. Now, I don't know who you blame for that. I don't know if you blame the players or the manager, but hearing that is absolutely shocking. As current Premier League champions, that is dreadful.
Jermain Pennant there on Inside Reds. And if you want to watch the latest Inside series, all the episodes are available on TalkSport's YouTube channel. That's all thanks to BetMGM 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Inside series on TalkSport with BetMGM. Watch the latest Inside series episode live on TalkSport's YouTube channel now. 18+, GambleAware.org.
Are those fair stats for Jermain Pennant to use in his argument against Arne Slot?
Well, they are.
A very good morning. This is Weekend Sports Breakfast. Katie Shanahan alongside Tony Cascarino this morning. Great to have Kapichi in the studio.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Really enjoyed it. Nice to get some Arsenal fans in the studio as well. Here are some of the headlines you're waking up to today. Anthony Kakaccia from Belfast is the new WBA Super Featherweight Champion. That was thanks to a unanimous decision win over James Dazza-Dickens at Dublin's 3 Arena. And Crystal Palace hosts Leeds this afternoon, looking for the victory that may move the Eagles into the top half of the Premier League table. Meanwhile, Leeds look to secure the points that will lift them out of the relegation scrap. Here's Daniel Farker.
Yes, I think one thing is for sure, that Crystal Palace won't underestimate us and also the quality that we've shown us in this game. It's always a bit the same when you win the first leg during a season, then the opponent is then a bit on it to show reaction. I'm pretty sure they will also want to do this. Of course, a home game for them, also a situation when they have some new players available after some proper signings also.
Okay, so Leeds up against Crystal Palace in the Premier League today, off at 2 o'clock at Selhurst Park. How do you think Leeds are going to get on today?
Well, they've got to be at their best because sort of Palace in the last 3 or 4 games have turned a bit of a corner, where they really were struggling. Obviously, winning at Tottenham the way they did. Honestly, Katie, I didn't think that would happen, that type of result. I thought that would be the defining moment for Spurs to get a victory. And when they get beat 3-1.
3-1, yeah.
And it was like, wow, how bad does it get? And then obviously it's followed up by Atletico Madrid. It's a tough game for Leeds because when Palace get their system right, and it feels like it's cooled down with Oliver Glasner's period where there was a bit of upset from fans and he's leaving and, results have dropped. It feels like it's just found their feet a bit in recent weeks. So it's a tough one. Leeds need to go and get a result because they're just looming above the others, aren't they? Like Spurs, Forest and West Ham.
Yeah, so they're 3 points above Nottingham Forest at the moment, just above Tottenham with them West Ham. So do you think Leeds will be all right this season? Do you think they'll stay?
I've always thought they would be because they brought a very big, strong team. And I like the idea of they've played quite often 2 up front. And Calvert-Lewin, he needs to sort of rediscover his goal-scoring form because early on in the season he was getting a good few goals.
I was going to say, he was putting in a couple, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, he was doing okay. He's doing better than okay. And that's been the sort of the defining moment of their season. But they're a decent side, Leeds. If they can get it going, they're a decent enough side to stay up. I don't see them going.
Okay, we'll have updates from 2 o'clock on Game Day Live with that game between Crystal Palace and Leeds. Right, okay, it is competition time.
Win a VIP trip to the British Grand Prix on TalkSport.
Listen up, Formula One fans, we're down to the final week. We want to send you and a mate to Silverstone on the 5th of July for the British Grand Prix. Experience it like no other. Forget general admission. We're putting you right in the heart of it with the full racing green trackside experience. Experience the Formula One in the best way possible. You're getting exclusive grandstand seats, plus inner track access to watch the drivers roll into the paddock. And we've got the whole day sorted with all-day street food, a fully open bar and more. Don't miss out. Here's how you enter. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or you can call this number 0343 418 7260. That's 0343 418 7260. Lines close this Friday at 4 p.m. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at TalkSport.com. So for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 now. And a very good luck. Okay, let's move on to Nottingham Forest against Fulham. Nottingham Forest welcome Fulham to the City Ground. That's also a kick-off at 2 o'clock today, coming off the back of a 2-2 draw against Man City, but having dropped into the relegation zone. That was after West Ham's draw yesterday. Let's speak to former Forest and Wales striker Robert Earnshaw to look ahead of this game in more detail. A very good morning, Rob.
Hi, Robert.
Good morning. Good morning. You got me out of bed so early.
Thanks so much for getting up on your Sunday.
I got the pleasure. Yeah, I've got the pleasure of speaking to the dream team over there.
Oh, thank you so much.
Come on, Robert, tell us, because, it feels like an opportunity for me for Forest today because Fulham, I don't think there was, I don't know if Harry Wilson's back, but he's been out the side, and they just lack a little bit when he's not there. He creates so much and scores goals. I do feel that the result at Man City for Forest was a big one. So I do have this sort of feeling of, do you know what, Forest could do it today and get 3 points.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's I was actually at the Man City game, and you felt like Man City were going to go and win probably 3 and 4-0, and then all of a sudden, that I think it's that spirit of Nottingham Forest that, like, all of a sudden they have an attack and all of a sudden there's a belief and then there's a goal. And even when they go 2-1 down and you think, okay, that's game over now, Man City playing at home, and all of a sudden they say, no, we go again. And I think that is going to be the key thing for Nottingham Forest. And you look at the Fulham game now, it's a must win.
Yeah.
They absolutely must win. I'm glad it's home. Yeah. And I just think there's going to be a very intense, higher atmosphere because Forest need the points. They know they need to win this, and the fans will know that. And I think it's going to be so key. This is going to be such a huge game. I mean, here we are. 1 year ago, we thought, okay, Forest are going to go into Europe and, no chance of relegation, and it's going to be a huge season for them. But here we are talking about Fulham at home is one of the biggest games of the season to avoid relegation. So I think I do fancy Nottingham Forest for this one.
Yeah,
I really do.
I was going to add, Robert, I mean, it feels like it's way more important than the European game they just lost, obviously, in midweek, because this was the game that utmost importance of getting a result.
Yeah, and I've been the one saying about, I think how amazing it is for all this time that we have Nottingham Forest now in Europe, how huge are those nights. Now, FC Midtjylland in Europe is now, in the Europa League, becomes very, very much less important than playing Fulham at home the next Sunday. So it's so big. It's so big. I think it's... we have a season now, or a small little mini season for Nottingham Forest over the next couple of months that they must. It's now urgent that they must secure Premier League football for next season. And, when you kind of look at their next few games, they do play Fulham, they do play Midtjylland away then, but then they have to play Tottenham. And they have to play, then when you kind of look at it, Aston Villa not in great form, and then Burnley right down there, and then Sunderland also. And I kind of look at Forest of the team, out of all the teams down the bottom, I think it's going to be Forest, West Ham, Leeds, and Tottenham. It's going to be one of those four. I just think that Forest have the capability to go and win probably 3 of their next 6 games, or at least get 2 wins and a draw. And that's going to leapfrog them over some of the others. So, listen, I think there's going to be a belief. I think it's going to be a real belief in Nottingham that they can do it. And it's a challenge now. And you've got to face the challenge head on now. This is the task. Stay away from relegation. You got some big games coming up. Now face the challenge.
Talking of big games coming up, let's talk about Wales. They've got a playoff against Bosnia coming up in a couple of weeks' time. You nervous yet, Rob?
Yes.
I am, but in a good way.
Yeah.
I'm nervous in a way of of course, uncertainty. You want to be at the World Cup. How good is it going to be to see Wales at another World Cup? And I think it's the impact of that would be so huge. But the reason I'm less nervous about it is I think because we got somebody in charge who is really trying to really progress all the other things in the tactics, in the discipline, in the game understanding, that when we have players missing, and we've had players missing. For example, Harry Wilson's been on fire. When we have him, we're even better. But when we don't have him, it's the team will take over because of how good we can read the game, how good that we can be. Other people can step up. So I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. And of course, you play Bosnia, you have to win that one. And then you still have to kind of look at it because it could be Italy and Northern Ireland in the next game. So that is going to be another one. I feel there's we're in the best shape that we can be going into this games. And that's why I think nervous one side, but quietly confident in the other side.
Good answer. Quietly
very
confident.
Optimistic.
Very optimistic. That's what we like to hear. Robert, thank you so much for getting up so early on your Sunday morning. You've got any nice plans today?
Today it's spending time with the family. I got my mum and sisters and everyone. We're going to spend it with them and look forward to the nervous Forest game as well.
Well, thank you for spending your morning with us, Robert. Great to get Rob Earnshaw on the programme. OK, we'll bring you updates from Nottingham Forest against Fulham as part of Game Day Live with Sam Matterface from 1:30. Up next, we're going to discuss a huge afternoon for Spurs as they go to Anfield to take on Liverpool, plus look back on a dramatic final day in the Six Nations. You are listening to Weekend Sports Breakfast on TalkSport in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Search VW Transporter to find out more. This is Weekend Sports Breakfast with Katie and Cass. Also, a very happy Mother's Day. Good morning.
Tottenham Hotspur have delayed season ticket renewals, which normally open by the 15th of March until the end of the season. A statement read this to season ticket holders yesterday: "We recognise the seriousness of the current league position, and following discussions with our fan advisory board and the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust, we can confirm the renewal window for 2026-27 will now remain open for an extended period until Sunday, the 7th of June. And this is because, of course, the relegation is a real threat now, and even the club are recognising that that could be a possibility. This comes as TalkSport understands that Igor Tudor has already alienated much of the Spurs squad. His treatment of goalkeeper Antonin Kinski during Tuesday night's hammering at Atletico Madrid did not go down with the dressing room. First of all, Crook, why don't you tell us, because you're the inside man here, what you understand the state of play to be?
I think a lot of the senior Spurs players, if you like, already have big reservations about Igor Tudor and his man management, and those were only exasperated by what happened with Kinski. I thought it was quite pointed. Jed Spence was also not acknowledged by his manager when he went off and came back and made a very public display of shaking his hand. So I think this is an appointment that is unravelling very quickly. I believe that conversations have taken place already between Spurs and potential other managers. Sean Dyche has been mentioned in the last 72 hours or so, but I think he would want a long-term contract, not a deal until the end of the season. There was even talk of Ange Postecoglou possibly being asked to return.
Cricket balls are red, baseballs are white, American footballs are brown, and tennis balls are yellow. We don't even think about it, really, but the story behind the tennis ball is actually quite interesting, and even involves Sir David Attenborough. I know. Well, here's the tale. Tennis is widely known to be a French sport. It dates back to the 12th century when people used handmade balls, and it was then called tennis, which is the verb to hold in French. And people used some pretty wacky material to make the balls with: cork, wool, chalk, animal fur, and even human hair. A few centuries on, Germany got dead into the tennis too, but wanted to make a few modifications to the ball to make it a bit more effective. Around this time, an American chemist had just created something called vulcanized rubber. Out of that, people started developing air-filled rubber balls, which were properly bouncy, but either red or grey in colour. These were manufactured in Melton Mowbray. That's right, the home of the pork pie. One problem, the balls kept on breaking on impact with the racket. The call of "new balls please" seemingly coming over every other point. Step forward English lawyer and tennis enthusiast John Moyer Heathcote, who suggested balls be covered in flannel to stop them from degrading. And thus the modern-day tennis ball was born. But these were white or black, so how did they become yellow? Well, in 1967, the controller of BBC Two, one Sir David Attenborough, decided the corporation should show Wimbledon on colour TV. He got his wish, and it was wide into people's homes across the country. The only sticking point: the white balls were nearly impossible to see on the screen. So the International Tennis Federation, sensing an opportunity, started developing a new ball that would be visible even without the need for 4K LED displays. Not that anyone had that in the late 60s. After rigorous testing, they came up with the colour Optic Yellow and decided every ball be coated in that colour from there on in. And there you have it. Tennis balls are yellow, all because Sir David Attenborough wanted to watch Wimbledon from the comfort of his own front room. You could say the ITF aced it.
Good morning. You're listening to Weekend Sports Breakfast live on YouTube and on your smart TV and on, of course, your radio too. Katie Shanahan with you this Sunday morning alongside the former Millwall and Chelsea striker Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
They left it late, but Arsenal beat Everton by 2-0. That was thanks to a late goal from 16-year-old Max Dowman.
Arsenal come forward with Max Dowman, and they're away, and they're going to wrap up all 3 points. Max Dowman, the youngster, taps the ball home. Cue Bedlam at the Emirates.
Yeah, it really was Bedlam. Mikel Arteta celebrating in style as well, as that win leaves the Gunners 9 points clear, and Dowman becomes the youngest ever Premier League goal scorer. It's taken 3 months, but West Ham are out of the relegation zone.
Forward with the in-swinging delivery. Donnarumma doesn't get there, and it's headed in by Mavropanos. The bubbles are blowing at London Stadium, and West Ham have struck back straight away.
Yes, an equaliser from ex-gunner Mavropanos takes the Hammers to 17th and puts a dent into Man City's title charge. After that draw, Forest find themselves in the relegation zone. Boss Vitor Pereira believes in his team's ability to compete in the battle for survival.
We need to understand what we can do. We thought that, okay, the energy will be difficult to compete with them. I really believe that we'll compete again.
We'll have updates from 2 o'clock on Game Day Live with Sam Matterface this afternoon. Keep all those texts coming in about your weird and wonderful crisp flavours. This is after Tony Cascarino said fried egg is something that I need to try. You can give us a text 81089 or give us a call 03717 223344. We'd love to hear from you this Sunday morning. This is Weekend Sports Breakfast on the world's biggest sports radio station. It is, of course, TalkSport. OK, so we've had a lorry load of text coming in about crisp flavours. Fried egg. Cass, I still can't get over that. We've had a lot of love for Monster Munch.
Yeah.
Multi-pack Monster Munch. That's from Christopher Weaver. We've had salt and vinegar chipsticks. Oh, I love that crunchy chipstick.
Good.
Monster Munch pickled onions. I mean, talking about fried egg flavour and bad breath. I mean, Monster Munch pickled onions.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, that's from Mike, the QPR fan, watching on YouTube as well, out in Thailand. Amazing. We've also had a couple of texts here saying, hi, Katie, on a Sunday, crisp, healthy ones has to go to lentil crisps. Also about roast chicken and thyme as well. Do you like roast chicken?
Yeah, I've had that flavour. I mean, there are some bizarre ones. I mean, but there's Bovril crisps. You can get Bovril, which is,
I'm not sure about that.
You know,
Marmite crisps.
Marmite,
as well.
yeah, you can get them all. I mean, there are so many varieties of different flavours of crisps.
Well, we've had this. A perfect beer partner, David Hutchinson is saying here, got to be the mustard lays you can buy out in Europe.
I haven't tried that one.
Mustard crisps.
Yeah.
I think it's fried egg still top of the charts.
Well, look, it was only because it was a Christmas day and I tried them. And
I'm going basic. I'm going salt and vinegar.
Yeah. Well, they're just, you know, you just sometimes, crisps. I mean, why are they so popular? You've got to ask the question. All the different flavours.
What's the weirdest flavour you've tried?
I've tried, the one that I didn't enjoy in particular, I tried tomato ketchup flavour and I didn't enjoy that.
Oh, actually, no, I tried that. I didn't enjoy it either.
No.
Okay. Keep those texts coming in, 81089, about your weird and wonderful crisp flavours. Can you beat Cass's fried egg? I don't think we have so far. So keep those texts coming in, 81089. OK, right, let's talk about the big game this afternoon. Spurs going to Liverpool at Anfield after 6 defeats on the bounce. Poor Jamie O'Hara, I don't know if he's even going to be watching the game today. They're yet to win under Igor Tudor. Heading into this game, it's at 4:30 for you today. How worried are you for Spurs, Cass?
Well, they've not had a particularly good record at Anfield over the years. I've seen some horrific performances. I mean, I was a teenager when I went to Anfield in 1978 and Tottenham got beat 7-0. And I was in the Cop with my friend who's a Tottenham fan. He's ended up in the Cop as well. And, I mean, that's an iconic game in itself. But I was there a couple of seasons ago when Tottenham were 4-0 down and it looked like they were going to get ended up 4-2. But Tottenham weren't very good. It's difficult to look. How do you put a positive slant on Spurs? They've won twice since the turn of the year, both in Europe. They're on a run of 6 defeats on the spin. Where's the positivity in anything you could say about
where are the wins going to come from?
Where and is it today? I mean, Liverpool are not a team that you should... They're not a Liverpool of last season. So you think that they could offer some problems. At the moment, I can't see anything that I feel like you could put your hat on something and go, do you know what? They might get something. I just can't see it at the minute.
As for Liverpool, your team, how do you see your side going at the moment?
Okay at times, still struggling. Mo Salah's still not out of his performances from last season. Hasn't really got close in any shape or form. Look, Wirtz had a couple of chances in the game in Galatasaray, didn't take them. And there's no doubt that Florian Wirtz is a very technical, gifted footballer. But what he's not very clinical. For someone who's 100 million plus, he's not a very clinical player. And he's not a natural striker, but his goal record previously has been pretty okay. It's not incredible, but by Leverkusen, he did get quite a lot of goals in the season they were champions. He hasn't really rediscovered that at Anfield. Certainly not Anfield yet.
Okay, let's switch sports now and head over to rugby union. England came so close to derailing France's Six Nations party in Paris, only for Thomas Ramos to land a long-range penalty with the clock in the red to clinch an extraordinary 48-46 win and the title, of course. Had England held on, well, Ireland would have been crowned champions following their 43-21 win against Scotland. What a game that was as well. So who better to help us look back on a sensational day in the Six Nations than former London Irish and England win 10 brilliant pundit is, of course, Topsy Ojo, live from Paris. Morning, Topsy.
Hi, Topsy.
Yeah, morning, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, good. I want to know why rugby has suddenly become like points and crazy. I'm 48-46. I mean, can anyone defend in rugby anymore?
Well, yeah, I think that's the way it's gone now. Everyone's decided that scoring points is more fun than defending. So you're just getting these incredible high-scoring games. And like last night was the match itself, the atmosphere around it, the stadium, everything. I mean, it was incredible. It was a fitting finale to what's been a brilliant tournament.
Topsy, France worthy champions overall, do you think?
Yeah, they were. I mean, geez, they just about crawled their way over the line. But if you look at the competition overall, definitely played the best rugby, definitely were probably the best team to watch. But like I say, it was heart in mouth times that last minute because, for about 60 seconds, the trophy was heading to Dublin and France will have let it slip out their hands over the last 2 weekends. So to be able to put it back with that last minute kick, I mean, as you can imagine, the roof lifted off the stadium, the fireworks, pyrotechnics, everything. Incredible way to win it, actually, and just added to the drama that we've had through the tournament.
Tell us, where does this leave England? Because no one saw that England would get so many points in Paris and also play the way they did. And does it confuse you how they've been in the Six Nations?
Yeah, that is the exact word to describe it, because you look at the way they played last night, different energy, different intent. You score 46 points and somehow you lose the game. They've ended up losing 4 in the Six Nations, which is the first time that's ever happened. So you're kind of wondering why they left it till the last game, what happened in the 3 that they lost previous, and what's going to happen going forwards. Like, you'd love them to play that way every time, or at least aspire to. You know it's not always going to be that way, but at least they showed that it's within them. The question is now, can they do that going forwards? Because the next time we see them, it's going to be in the summer away to South Africa, the 2-time world champions, and that's going to be a very difficult trip. So, yeah, frustration last night, frustration across the tournament, but I think at least left England fans with a taste that, okay, we know what these players can do when they get it right. It's just, as always, how do you do that consistently against the best teams out there?
Topsy, there's been so many storylines across the Six Nations. You've got Scotland's rise, you've got Ireland on the brink of winning it, Wales's fight back, and Italy's progression, their first ever win over England. This has been such a good Six Nations for all the teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Every team has kind of had their own story at one point, as you've just mentioned. To go to the final weekend and have 3 teams in with a shout of winning it, I don't think that's happened recently. They broke the record again last night for most tries scored in the competition, so that tells you everything you need to know about attack. So there's been a little bit of everything, and then obviously you throw in like Wales getting their first win in 3 years, Italy beating England for the first time. All those little stats have almost been ticked off in this tournament, so it's been a real privilege to be a part of it.
Best ever Six Nations since its inception in 2000, do you think, Topsy?
For me, yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I say, I don't know anyone that's been as wild, as crazy, as attacking-minded, that has finished in such a dramatic fashion as well. Like you say, 30 seconds left on the clock. You didn't know where the trophy was heading. Ends up staying in France. And, yeah, I think everyone's coming away saying we need a rest after that. It's been an incredible period, but yeah, we need a little time off now.
Topsy, I know you're travelling back from Paris, so thanks very much for joining us on Weekend Sports Breakfast. Hope you get back home safe and have a little bit of a breather. Now France have taken the Six Nations title. What an amazing tournament. It was filled, frills and spills all over it. Really enjoyed it from start to finish.
I wanted to say, top that then, Topsy.
Very good, Cass. More from Cass throughout the show. Coming up, we're going to get the very latest from Coral, and shortly, TalkSport's chief football correspondent, yes, Alex Crook, will be with us. You are listening to Weekend Sports Breakfast on TalkSport in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Search VW Transporter to find out more. Very good morning.
Morning, guys.
Jermain.
Morning, Gabs.
Jay,
Morning,
good
boss.
morning.
Morning, boss. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. All good.
Why are you not here, Jermain? I thought you would be with us today in the box, smelling amazing.
I might have to come down, actually. Looks like it's going to be fun. Nice day for it.
Yeah, great day.
Jump on the headache up there, you'll be fine, mate. He's not a racing man, I don't think, is he?
I'm not. The boss knows I'm not really, and he's getting involved in it, though.
Yeah.
Saying all the right
He's well
things.
behaved, didn't come on a Tuesday when he was in on the Wednesday.
Yeah, he was definitely there on a Tuesday.
We're the lads here. All got the helicopter here, didn't they? Did they? Tottenham, yeah. Yeah.
That was Rob,
Jermain,
that
it's
was
good
Robbie
to
that
have
saw
you
that.
on with this. Let's get your thoughts now on your former club. Shall we start with Spurs? It's a bit of a mess.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's been a hard watch all season. To be honest, I think especially the other night I watched the game and yeah, it was just I think the manager's come in and he's in, especially in that game, he's decided to start a young goalkeeper in Kingsley, and I think I was surprised when he took him off. To be honest, I think when you have a young goalkeeper and you make that decision in such a game of that magnitude to start him, I think you've got to stay with him. I think what a young goalkeeper can gain from that sort of experience, even though it weren't going well when he made the two big mistakes. But I think you've got to stay with him. And the fact that the manager decided to take him off and not really acknowledge him when he come off, I just think that human side, I think you've got to manage that situation in the right way. He doesn't look good. I think try and get through half time and allow the senior players to get around him and help him in the second half. But to drag him off after the two mistakes,
Hello and welcome to TalkSport Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
morning. You're listening to Weekend Sports Breakfast with me, Katie Shanahan, alongside Chelsea and Celtic striker. It's Tony Cascarino, of course. So why are we playing this song? So this is the Buggles with Video Killed the Radio Star, because apparently Brits are still watching black and white TVs. Yes, nearly 3,000 viewers have specific black and white TV licenses, 58 years after the introduction of colour sets. So probably find a lot of your goals in there, Kev.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah. Do you know what? I watched a black and white film in midweek, and it was Laurel and Hardy, and it's about when Laurel gets in the ring and has a boxing fight. I think it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Honestly, it's hilarious. Some of the old black and white comedy is brilliant.
Yeah, and then you can look at the pictures as well. So, do you fancy watching football in black and white?
Well, I watched it. I didn't. Colour was everywhere by the time I started playing. But obviously there's an issue with the colours. You know, get them right. I mean, snooker. TV changed snooker, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Because everyone could recognise the balls.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, right, let's get an update from round 2 of the Formula 1 season. The Chinese Grand Prix is currently underway, so let's get the latest from our reporter, Tom Clayton.
Yeah, and plenty of colour in this Chinese Grand Prix so far. Lap number 47 out of 56, just 10 to go out in Shanghai. Kimi Antonelli proving that he is a mature head on young shoulders. He has cleared off into the distance and currently leads his teammate George Russell by 8 seconds. It's really been a very impressive display from him. There was a great battle for second between Russell, Hamilton and Leclerc, the two Ferraris currently in third and fourth, but Russell came out on top. Then Hamilton and Leclerc had their own battle, which Charles Leclerc came over the radio and said, I'm actually quite enjoying this. So there is some enjoyment happening in these rule sets. Max Verstappen's just pulled off to one side and retired the car. He's having some electrical faults. Another reason why you've not been hearing McLaren's name much heard this morning, and that's because Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris both out of the race before it even started with separate technical faults with their power units. And a word on Ollie Behrman as well, in 5th place in Haas, running very, very well indeed. But lap number 47 out of 56 for this Grand Prix, it's the silver arrow of Kimi Antonelli looking for his first race win in Formula 1.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, Tom Clayton, our Formula 1 reporter there. We'll be back with him very shortly to get more updates. But now it's time to get the odds with Coral.
The Coral Daily Download on TalkSport with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
OK, we can speak to John Hill. A very good morning, John.
Hi, John.
Good morning, Katie. Good morning, Cass. How are we doing?
Yeah, we're good. I know that everyone wants to know. I mean, what are the odds now on the Arsenal? Come on. How short are they, John?
9 points clear. Come on.
It's not over yet, is it? But look, that was a big swing yesterday, wasn't it? Obviously, City dropping points against West Ham. Arsenal late goals against Everton. Arsenal now 1-10 to get their hands on the title. City out to 8-1. So this is the shortest Arsenal have been all season, Cass. Yeah. So they've done this this form at exactly the right time when they needed it again. And we think, one hand on the trophy, but there's still plenty of games left to go. That's what you probably have to tell yourself if you're a City fan.
Let's run through a couple of the games this afternoon. Who's favourite between Man United and Villa? It seems like it could be a tight one.
Yeah, it should be a good game, this one. I think we've factored in here. United are in good form under Michael Carrick. They're favourites at 7-10. Aston Villa come on the back of a European game against Lille. United had the luxury of no European football, if you like. So United favourites here. Villa 18-5. The draw 29-10. United obviously chance to get into the top 4 this season. They're now 1-3 to do that, and that's quite a turnaround when you think at the start of the season the form they were in under Ruben Amorim. So United to get back in Champions League football next season, I think they'll be delighted with that. And then the question, of course, this summer, do they stick with Michael Carrick or do they look elsewhere? That's going to be a big decision to keep an eye on this summer.
John, the other 3 Premier League games all have an element of relegation because Leeds go to Palace, Nottingham Forest at home to Fulham, and Spurs go to Anfield.
Yeah, well, let's start with the latter because this, close your ears if you're a Spurs fan right now, because after that draw yesterday for West Ham, our odds suggest that Spurs are the more likely to be relegated out of Spurs, West Ham and Forest and Leeds. If you put a line through Burnley and Wolves being down, there's one place still available for relegation. And we make Spurs now 6-4 to go down. West Ham are out to 2-1. Forest 5-2 and Leeds 5-1. So the alarm bells must be ringing in North London for Spurs fans right now. And, their form has just been abysmal, in particular under Igor Tudor. It's not improved since he's taken over. And he's got to find a result today. Well, they're 7-1 to get that Spurs at Anfield. Liverpool 1-3 favourites in this one. The draw 5-1. We're expecting nothing but a Liverpool victory in this one, Cass.
Yeah, most definitely. Just briefly, just give us the odds on Forest. Because they're
Forest are 5-4 favourites here against Fulham. They need a victory. I've just mentioned their odds. Obviously desperate for a result. Forest 21-10. Fulham, the draw 12-5. And then the game at 2:00. This is two sides really very much out of form. Palace taking on Leeds. Palace 6-4 favourites here. Leeds could get dragged into this. They're now 5-1 in the relegation betting. They're 19-10 to prevail today. The draw 11-5. So very much really, I would say, 3 open games, and Liverpool are the shortest price favourites of the day at 1-3.
Thanks very much, John. Appreciate your time this morning. That was a look at the latest odds with Coral. 18+. BeGambleAware.org. Please gamble responsibly.
The Coral Daily Download on TalkSport with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
OK, this is Weekend Sports Breakfast here on TalkSport. Coming up, we'll look ahead to today's games with Alex Crook. It's Katie and Cass in the chair this morning. Happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there. Very good morning.
That's so typical. That's so nonsensical.
PSG 3, Chelsea 2, and goodness me, boys, you've shot yourselves in the foot.
What is that? What is that? I said it. We said it. You bring in a keeper because he's good with his feet. But really and truly, is he that good with his feet? What's his shambolic goal?
Reece James plays the ball back to Jorgensen, who tries to play out from the back, and he gets intercepted. It falls to a PSG player. And by the way, as well, when he gets worked to Vitinha, the goalkeeper's off his line. And that is some dinked finish, isn't it? But once again there, Kwaku, he's taking way too much time. And my goodness me, in a game of football where you're level at 2-2, possibly looking the better team, in a game of this magnitude, at this level, mistakes like that, Louis, are just completely unacceptable.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is why when people talk about keepers playing with the ball at their feet all the time and how it's a massive priority, yes, I appreciate the game is changing. But the
become the friend I never had. Back then, I didn't know why you were misunderstood.
You are listening to Weekend Sports Breakfast with me, Katie Shanahan, and former Millwall and Marseille striker Tony Cascarino. This is Mama by Spice Girls. Yeah. Because it's Mother's Day, of course, and we are celebrating all of the sporting mums out there. If you grew up playing sport and have kids that play sport, there's a good chance that your mum or wife played a massive role in it, whether it was those early morning lifts, the freezing touchlines, or the endless washing of muddy kits. My mum certainly just ferried me all around while I was playing England hockey. It was all these. I played for like 6 different teams at one time. She was always stood on the sideline watching me play.
That's brilliant. I tell you what, I can't do it very often because of, obviously, I'm doing the sports breakfast. My youngest, plays on Sundays for Petswood, a local team in the southeast, and the amount of mums that are there. It actually feels like there's more mums than dads there. Where years gone by, when I grew up, mostly was dads. Very few mums went. And that's lovely. It's lovely, supporting their children. And so it's great fun.
So we're celebrating all the sporting mums out there. So keep those texts coming in, 81089, as well as all those texts about your weird and wonderful crisp flavours. This is after Cass says that he really likes fried egg crisp flavour. Well, I can challenge you now because people have said surprisingly delicious. This is from Tony. Vanilla milkshake crisp flavour, which sounds absolutely rancid.
Yeah, until you've tried it, because it sounds, I love vanilla and I like milkshake, so I'm going to like it. Yeah. But the thought of tasting it, I'd give it a go.
Yeah, we need to do a tasting session. Maybe next time. Okay, let's move on to today's football then. 4 Premier League games, including Manchester United against Aston Villa and, of course, Liverpool v Spurs. So let's preview these games, of course, with our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook. Good morning.
Crookie. I know you like any crisps.
Yeah, what's your favourite type of crisp?
Every flavour cookie.
Well, definitely not fried egg. Do you know what? I'm a bit old school. I'm a bit partial to prawn cocktail, I think.
Oh, yes, I like prawn cocktail. That's my go-to, actually, in a meal deal.
Yeah, not bad. Not my favourite, but not bad.
Let's start with the one at Old Trafford tonight in terms of the games, which has been billed as Michael Carrick's most important game yet. Do you agree with that statement, Crookie?
Yeah, I think I do, because as Cass will testify, I think you learn more about your players as a manager in defeat than you do when things are going well. Obviously, he's had that bump in the road now, losing at 10-man Newcastle. Doesn't look like it's going to be that costly. Chelsea losing at home yesterday has done United a massive favour, and if they can beat Aston Villa today, Villa in no form at all when it comes to the Premier League, then I think they put themselves in a great position for that top 5 finish in Champions League football next season. But I'm intrigued to see how they bounce back, because it wasn't just a Newcastle game where they were underwhelming. Even though they were picking up points in the previous 3 or 4 matches, they weren't great against West Ham when they needed a late goal from Šeško to get a point there. They weren't great against Crystal Palace when they relied on the sending off of Maxence Lacroix to really change the game. They weren't great against Fulham either. So that defeat in Newcastle had been coming.
Crookie, is there a bit of an advantage for Manchester United? Because obviously Aston Villa played European football in midweek. You think that, Michael Carrick's had quite a good time to spend on the training ground with his players and get them absolutely up to speed for this game?
Well, I certainly hope so, Cass. I commentated Villa in Europe on Thursday. Yes, they won the game, but Lille, I thought, were very poor on the night, and Villa still don't look like a team to me who are going to score bags of goals. I think they've scored 6 in their last 8 games in all competitions. So United, I think, have the firepower to get the better of them. But I guess there's a fine line, isn't there? Yes, you've got the advantage that you're not playing as many matches, but also is there a danger that you can come into these games undercooked when you're spending all that time on the training ground and not actually playing too much competitive football?
Crookie, what do you think? If Michael Carrick gets Manchester United top 4, do you think he should get the job full time?
As a supporter, I've made a vow not to pass comment on that until 2 games before the end of the season. But as an independent football correspondent, I think if he gets them into the top 5, brings Champions League football back to Old Trafford, why would you make a change, particularly now that Thomas Tuchel is out of the equation? I think he would have been a lot of people's first choices. I look at some of the other names out there. If you're talking about Premier League experience, Oliver Glasner, the way it's unravelled for him at Crystal Palace isn't particularly inspiring. I'm not sure that Andoni Iraola has the personality to manage a club of the size and stature of Manchester United. Are you really going to go for someone like Carlo Ancelotti? Wait until after the World Cup? I'm not sure. So I think at the moment, Carrick is in a position to put himself in the box seat.
Yeah.
And you're at Crystal Palace against Leeds today. What are you expecting from that one?
I think a draw, probably. Palace, again, unimpressive in Europe in midweek, and I think their Conference League campaign has been really muddly. When you look at the experience that Oliver Glasner has in European football, they were the favourites at the start of the competition. They've lost at home to Larnaca. They've dropped points against Coops in a game they needed to win to avoid the playoffs, and now they've given themselves a little bit of a job to do when it comes to the second leg against Larnaca. So I've not been overly impressed with Crystal Palace. I think, much like Ruben Amorim at Manchester United, I think he's too wedded, Oliver Glasner, to playing three at the back. I don't think you need three at the back against a team like Larnaca and two holding midfielders. You're shoehorning Brennan Johnson out of position because obviously Daniel Munoz is injured. Leeds, I think, have had a decent season under Daniel Farke. They've not won many games of late, but they're certainly competitive. And they need the points, I think, because I looked at the league table last night. It's all of a sudden very congested down at the bottom.
Yeah, it's a very relegation feel Sunday, really, isn't it? Apart from the Manchester United Villa game, you have Leeds going to Crystal Palace, you have Forest at home to Fulham, and Liverpool facing Spurs, who are obviously in a dire run.
Yeah, I mean, who'd have thought at the start of the season that we would get to Mother's Day, and happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there, including Mrs. Crook, by the way, that we'd be talking about Tottenham as potential relegation contenders. But not only are they relegation contenders, I think if you're asking me to toss up between them and West Ham and Nottingham Forest, I'd make Spurs favourite because they don't seem to have the character, they don't seem to have the heart in that dressing room. They're the only team in the Premier League who've not won a game in 2026. I expect them to lose today, and I expect them to be looking for another new manager in the not too distant future. We understand at TalkSport they've already started sounding out possible replacements for Igor Tudor, and that's already looking like a disaster of an appointment. The question the hierarchy need to ask themselves, if they lose today, do they risk keeping Igor Tudor in charge for a huge 6-pointer at home to Forest and then make a change during the international break, or do they act sooner?
Yeah. That's the thing. Could a defeat spell the end for Igor Tudor? And who do you think would be a good fit to try and keep Spurs up?
I think it's over for Igor Tudor already. I think he knows that. I looked at his press conference on Friday and he was firing the sort of bullets that the managers do as they know they're on their way out. In terms of who comes in, that's a massive question. I know Roberto De Zerbi is very high on their list. Last time I checked in with his camp, he wasn't keen to take over mid-season. I think he'd rather wait until the summer. You talk about a firefighter type appointment. Sean Dyche is a name that I've heard a lot over the past week or so. But again, I think he would want a longer-term commitment than just the final few games of the season. I don't think they're going to pull the Harry Redknapp cord, despite the fact that he's very publicly put himself out there. Robbie Keane, I think, would take it, and obviously as someone the fans would welcome. But there's no obvious answer. But I tell you what wasn't the answer: Igor Tudor.
Yeah, wow. Look, it's been an amazing period for that football club, because you've just witnessed over the course of the season that their deterioration of their standards at the club. I look at every level, I think, from upstairs right the way through the club to, the manager that's been in charge as of late, and also the staff are involved, and just watch the players on the pitch, Crookie. They just feel like there's so much wrong when you're watching them play.
Yeah, I think you're right. And obviously the manager is the one who gets scrutinised. I think Igor Tudor has been set up to fail, really. I don't think he's the right type of person for that dressing room. I would have serious reservations about the mental fortitude of a lot of those Tottenham players. I would go as far as to say a lot of them don't seem to care, because they know that even if they are in the Championship, they'll get themselves a decent move in the summer, and that attitude will worry me as a Spurs fan. But you're right to point out the hierarchy. Daniel Levy was ousted very dramatically the day after the summer transfer window closed. Tottenham fans were promised this would be a new era. They were going to prioritise sporting success. They were going to spend money. I never fell for that, because it's the same ownership. It's still the Lewis family. It's still Enoch. And in getting rid of Daniel Levy, I don't now see a figurehead who knows how to run a football club. I've said it before and I'll say it again. They wouldn't be in such a disastrous situation if Daniel Levy was still calling the shots.
As for Liverpool, how do you think they're going to finish their season? They're currently in 6th position, very different, situation regarding reigning champions. They brought in so many players. Do you think they'll get top 4?
No, I don't, to be honest. I would make Manchester United favourites to get top 4. I think Aston Villa, if they can get their act together, have got a great opportunity. Chelsea, bad defeat yesterday, but I still think they're capable of going on the type of run that you would need. So I can see Liverpool missing out, because I don't think they're consistent enough. And there's a lot of gripes from Liverpool fans, cast amongst them, that maybe the football is a little bit laboured this year and not particularly exciting to watch. And yeah, I think it's been a difficult season for Arne Slot, but I do think there's a lot of mitigating factors. Some of the new signings have either been injured in the case of Alexander Isak or just haven't really settled in. Milos Kerkez, the left-back, would be an obvious example. Konate, I think, has had a really poor season at a time when his contract is coming to an end. But you can't talk about Liverpool, in my opinion, without factoring in the trauma of the summer and that tragic passing of Diogo Jota. And that's why, for me, I think Arne Slot deserves another season to try and turn this around.
Absolutely, I fully agree with that. Well said. Let's talk about Game Day Live, which is coming up at 1:30 on TalkSport with you, Crookie.
Yeah, Sam Matterface, I think he's overdone it at Cheltenham this week, so he's in a nice, cosy studio while the rest
I
of
thought
the
you might have overdone it as well.
Well, you saw me there. I was on impeccable behaviour. But the rest of us are all out of grounds. I'm at Crystal Palace. I think Perry's out and about as well. Obviously, we've got the Manchester United Villa game and Liverpool Tottenham under the microscope, so it's going to be a very busy show.
Yeah, well, look forward to it, Crookie, and we'll catch up soon, yeah?
Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Crookie. Right, Game Day Live coming up for you at 1:30 on TalkSport. Now, we've just had the checkered flag at the Chinese Grand Prix, so let's go over to Tom Clayton, who can bring us up to speed. Tom.
Yes, I can indeed. And on Mother's Day, mamma mia, we have an Italian race winner in Formula One for the first time in 20 years. Kimi Antonelli, the 19-year-old, has gone from lights to flag for his first race win in Formula One. A really mature, excellent drive from the youngster as he finished about 8 seconds up the road ahead of teammates George Russell. In fairness, the two Mercedes were head and shoulders above everyone today. They finished 20 seconds ahead of the field. The two Ferraris came in third and fourth, with Lewis Hamilton getting his first podium for Ferrari on his 26th attempt. So he will not replicate what he did last season and go a full year without a single podium. So he's scenes of jubilation down there in the pit lane. As I say, the Ferrari for Charles Leclerc into fourth place and Ollie Behrman into fifth in the Haas, one of his best career finishes so far as well. Max Verstappen had to pull out of this race with a technical fault, and then neither McLaren of Lando Norris nor Oscar Piastri even made it out of the pits this morning. Both had technical faults of their own. But the headline this afternoon, or this morning I should say, in the UK, Kimi Antonelli is a race winner in Formula One. He takes the flag at the Chinese Grand Prix.
What?
Thanks, Tom. So a great weekend for the teenagers.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
all
Max
these
Dowman,
teenagers, but even just young. I mean, as we talked about, the young French winger, if I could get his name right, Louis Bielbieri.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Have you tried that all morning?
I'm trying
It's
to
all right,
just
we'll
get
get
it
it
right.
by maybe the end of the year. Speaking of Formula One, it's competition time.
Win a VIP trip to the British Grand Prix on TalkSport.
Listen up, Formula One fans. We're down to the final week. We want to send you and a mate to Silverstone, yes, on the 5th of July for a British Grand Prix experience like no other. Forget general admission. We're putting you right in the heart of it with the full Racing Green trackside experience. Experience the Formula One the best way possible. You're getting exclusive grandstand seats plus inner track access to watch the drivers roll into the paddock. And we've got the whole day sorted for you as well, with all-day street food, a fully open bar, yes, and more than that. Don't miss out. Here's how to enter. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or you can call this number 0343 418 7260. Lines close this Friday at 4 p.m. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. So for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 now. Right, you are listening to Weekend Sports Breakfast here on TalkSport in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Search VW Transporter to find out more. Right, just for the remaining parts of the show. Coming up next, we're going to discuss a massive afternoon for Spurs with their former defender, Gary Stevens. You're listening to Weekend Sports Breakfast with Katie and Cass on Mother's Day. A very happy Mother's Day to all those sporting mums out there. Good morning.
Just a quick word on some of the other stuff that's been doing the rounds this week. Eddie Hearner's been making more noises, discussing the prospect of AJ. We don't even know when he's going to come back and start fighting again, taking on Tyson Fury. I mean, is this just sort of like, I don't know, barroom talk, or is there real feeling behind it? Is there some substance behind the prospect of them meeting finally?
I think there's a real thirst for it from everybody involved in being able to make that fight. I think we will be a lot further down the line, obviously, if Anthony hadn't suffered the tragedy that he suffered at the back end of last year. And that's the main thing, really, for me. Him getting his head in the right space to compete, competing for the right reasons, getting himself to a place of peace. I know that he's never, ever going to get over what happened to him, but if he can get to a place of peace where he can get back in the ring, he can compete, and if he does want to do that again, then I think the obvious turn would be Tyson Fury. I think it would be really, really sad for this era of boxing and this era of boxing fan, and for both of these guys, because I think they'll look back in years gone after their career that they should have done it. I hope that they can get to a point where they do it, because I still think that it is the biggest fight for two British lads stepping in a British ring. Fingers crossed it happens on British soil, that we can get.
Right, final prediction before I let you go. Who sinks more pints of Guinness over the weekend? You in Dublin or Crookie this afternoon while he's watching the Gold Cup?
Oh, that's a killer, that. I think Crookie takes it all. I've been out with Crookie on a couple of occasions, mate, and he is a phenom, isn't he? He knows what he's doing when it comes to sinking pints.
You are listening to Weekend Sports Breakfast with me, Katie Shanahan, alongside former Chelsea and Villa striker Tony Cascarino. Why are we playing the song? Because it's Mother's Day. So if you've forgotten, go and get that card, go and get the flowers and spoil your mums, because that's why we're playing this song. Happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there. This Sunday, Mothering Sunday, as we're meant to call it, apparently. Here's what else is coming up on TalkSport today. Coming up at 9 a.m, it's Sunday edition with Sean Custis and Henry Winter. Of course, Max Dowman might get a mention. What a special day for him. His first senior goal for Arsenal, but also setting up for that first goal as well. Then it's warm-up at 11 a.m. with Ollie Klink and Rory Jennings. Game day exclusive brings you all the goals as they go in from the Premier League, the WSL. The Women's League Cup final is happening today as well. That's from 1:30. Sam Matterface in the chair for that one, alongside Alex Crook, who we just spoke to moments ago. Then immediately following the full time, at Anfield, the final word phone-in. We'll take your calls. The number to call is 03717223344. That is the number. Natalie Sawyer in the chair for that one. And your Sunday evening concludes with the Trans-Euro Express, and the very great Danny Kelly will be bringing you all the stories from around Europe. But it is a massive Sunday on the TalkSport network, because Liverpool against Spurs, that's a 4:30 kickoff for you this afternoon. Liverpool will hope to capitalise on Chelsea's slip-up last night against Newcastle, while Igor Tudor, well, he's looking to lift Spurs out of the danger zone. They face at the bottom of the table, just 1 point off the relegation zone, with odds on, we were hearing from John Hill, for them to go down. Igor Tudor issued some rallying words this week for his team.
Like everything in a life, you can choose how to see the situation. So you can stay and cry, or you can fight. You can be the victim, or you can say, I can change something. So this is the message I want to start, what I communicate to the players.
OK, we are now joined by former Spurs defender Gary Stevens. Good morning, Gary.
Gary.
Yeah, hi to you, Katie. Hello, Cass. How are you?
I haven't seen you for a long time, Gary. I'm good, and you're good. Where are you living now, Gary?
I've been living in Southeast Asia now for almost 12 years. I'm actually in Kuala Lumpur at the moment, where I come most weekends and cover some English Premier League football for a TV company here. And then I flip back to Thailand, where I spend my midweeks, put it that way. What a life, Cat.
Yes.
Hey, where did it all go so wrong, mate?
Well, it's going wrong for your club at the moment, Gary. I mean, what do you make of it? Because it's really hard to see how things have just sort of deteriorated for Spurs during the course of the season. I can't think of anything positive about what I've seen from them.
Well, I think it's very difficult under the circumstances, 100%, yeah. But it hasn't happened overnight. That's the truth of it, Cass. I think you can probably go back, I don't know, 10 or 12 years when Maurizio Pochettino was in charge. He had 5 full seasons at the club. His 3 final seasons, they finished 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, got to the Champions League final, lost to Liverpool. And at that point, I think that was when Pochettino said that the club needed to strengthen, they needed to get more depth. It didn't happen. Was that because of the spend on the stadium, shortage of funds, etc.? And since then, in the 7 years, they've had 9 different coaches, which isn't good. Admittedly, a couple like Ryan Mason on 2 temporary little spots as well. But yeah, even if you look back to last season, under Ange, yeah, they won a European trophy, but they finished 17th in the league. It's been going on for over 2 seasons now in the Premier League that they just haven't delivered.
I mean, you have to think back to when Maurizio Pochettino was in charge. He managed to get them to a Champions League final with no new signings coming in. So do you think this has been a long time coming then, Gary?
Well, yeah, I just said it doesn't happen overnight. And if you look at immediately after that Champions League final, I think Spurs, if I remember correctly, spent 25 million on Ryan Sessegnon. Now, 5 years later, having played something like about 25 starts in the Premier League across 5 years, he left the club for free to go back to Fulham, having also been out on loan. And I think that sums up the recruitment at Spurs to a large extent. Also, the truth is that for every action, there is a consequence. And I just think that too many actions, too many decisions that have been made at Spurs in recent years, and I've just been talking about the last 10 to 12 years, in recent years have led to outcomes that have just not been advantageous for the club. They've been poor decisions. I've just mentioned recruitment. Yes, I think the new stadium had to come, but that comes at a price because it's a huge cost. You've got to look at the injury situation for the last 2 years. What's going wrong there? Today I think there's 12 players unavailable. You can't run a top club like that.
No. Gary, can I ask you, because I've said, and I've got no proof on are they or aren't they, they're my least favourite squad of players. And I watch them play, and I don't know any of them. But when I watch them, I see so many things. I was at Fulham just recently, and there were so many things that you could see sitting down live, watching the game. You'd go, this group just don't feel they're together.
Well, there is very little togetherness there at the moment. The club is divided, and as we know, it's a team sport, and together you're strong, divided you're weak. I look at other clubs down there, look at Leeds United at the moment, look at West Ham yesterday, for example, pick up a point against Man City. Everybody down there, Nottingham Forest, they seem to be scrapping and fighting, but I don't really see that with Spurs. They've just lost 6 on the bounce in all competitions. Well, they've never had as bad a run as that. I never played anywhere. Even, I was at Brighton before I went to Spurs, and we got relegated at the end of my 4th season there from the top flight. I don't think we even went 6 games where we lost all 6 in all competitions. It's an unprecedented run from Spurs at the moment, and morale is low. And well, you got to look to somebody to lift it, and it's Igor Tudor, isn't it? And he's gone in there and made absolutely no difference, unfortunately.
Yeah, 6 defeats on the bounce. Seems like, if there's another defeat today against Liverpool, he could be out the door. Gary, thanks so much for your time this morning. Gary Stevens there, former Spurs defender on the show. Now, we've been discussing favourite crisp flavours, haven't we, Cass?
Go on, yeah.
After you said your favourite crisp flavour was fried egg. So we've had a couple of texts here. Thanks for all your texts, 81089 this morning. This is from Roy. Where can I get Brannigan's roast beef and mustard? Love them. According to Roy, how about this? This is from John. Tried a pickled egg and a bag of ready salted crisps. That's from John, the Villa fan.
Right,
but I think this has got to be the most bizarre.
comes all the boys to the yard and they're like, it's better than yours.
Yeah, vanilla milkshake. I think that's got to be the most bizarre
I just
crisp
can't
flavour.
imagine that in a crisp.
Maybe we'll try and find some. But you've got to bring in fried egg the next
Friday.
time.
When you're on again, Katie, I'll promise I'll remember some fried egg crisp.
Okay, well, that's all we've got time for. But before we go, we should say a very happy birthday to TalkSport 2, which celebrates its 10th birthday today. So happy birthday to TalkSport 2. We've had a couple of birthdays in this morning. We've had band Kit.
Yeah.
Kapichi. It was his birthday as well, wasn't it, Eddie?
Eddie, yeah. I was going to say it was Eddie, yeah.
But that is it from us today, from me and Cass. Hope you have a lovely Mothering Sunday and that you've remembered to get that card. All the flowers go and spoil all the sporting mums out there. You've been listening to Weekend Sports Breakfast with me, Katie Shanahan, alongside Tony Cascarino here on TalkSport. Have a great day. Up next, it's Sunday edition with Sean Custis and Henry Winter.
It's better than yours, I could teach you.
In the past 10 years, on only one occasion has a side been on fewer points than Arsenal at this stage of the season. Leicester City, 63 points at this stage. Arsenal leading the Premier League on 67. Liverpool were also on 67 in 23-24.